From the gateway to the west, it's hockey night from Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri, where a Western Conference battle with playoff implications takes place as the St. Louis Blues host the San Jose Sharks. Welcome into the broadcast, one and all. My name is Jaric Rubel, where tonight's game here is featuring two teams heading in very different directions, as it seems, at critical points in the season. For San Jose, this is about stopping the bleeding. After spending much of the year firmly in playoff contention, San Jose suddenly finds themselves on the outside looking in, and it's been a tough slide to watch as they enter tonight riding a 5-game losing streak, and with each passing game, the postseason picture is starting to become a little bit more distant. Their most recent outing, it was a difficult one. They lost 6-3 to the Nashville Predators in a game that slipped away almost immediately as San Jose dug themselves into a massive hole early, trailing 5-1 after the first period, and despite showing some push later on, the damage had already been done. Young forward Will Smith did what he could do with a 2-goal effort for the Sharks, but the bigger issue has been consistency, particularly in their own zone. Too many breakdowns, too many quality chances against, and not enough complete efforts over 60 minutes of play. And for a team leaning heavily on its young superstar, Macklin Celebrini, that has more than double the points of the person who's second on the team in scoring, he needs to rediscover his rhythm as well, as he's been outstanding all season, but he has cooled off here in a recent games, a reflection of San Jose's struggles as a whole. Meanwhile, on the other side, this St. Louis club's telling a much different story. A team that looked all but out of the race at the Olympic break suddenly comes roaring back into the playoff conversation. They've caught fire, going 8-1-2 over their last 11 games, and they've done it with structure, discipline, and stellar play between the pipes, as goaltender Joel Hofer has been a major catalyst during this surge for St. Louis. He's been nothing short of sensational in his recent starts, piling up wins and adding in an already impressive shutout total. His latest performance, it was a clean sheet against the Washington Capitals, turning aside everything that came his way for his 6th whitewash of the campaign. Offensively, the Blues are getting the contributions up and down the lineup that they should be. Jimmy Snuggerud's been on a tear, producing at a high rate over the past couple of weeks. Meanwhile, Jordan Kyrou and Otto Stenberg continue to provide plenty of timely scoring. St. Louis, though, for at least tonight, will have to move forward without one of its biggest offensive drivers, as star forward Robert Thomas, their top-line center, was forced out of the last game following a heavy collision with Capitals forward Pierre-Luc Dubois, and it's been confirmed that he will not suit up for tonight's game against San Jose, a significant absence for a Blues team that's been surging and trying to keep this playoff push alive. So tonight, it's desperation versus momentum. The Sharks trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, while the Blues surging with belief, trying to complete an unlikely path to the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the Sharks and the Blues coming up next. Starting goaltenders and the drop of the puck is just moments away. You're listening to the some NHL hockey with Jaric Rubel right here on my very own YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here from Enterprise Center in St. Louis, where we get set to drop the puck between the Blues and the San Jose Sharks. But before we do that, let's talk about tonight's starting goaltenders. In net for the San Jose Sharks, it's Yaroslav Askarov, 19-17-3 on the year for him, a 3.56 goals against average and an .886 save percentage. He's looking still for his first career shutout. He'll be opposed by Joel Hofer, who got his 6th shutout of the season on Tuesday night. He's 18-11-5 on the year, a 2.57 goals against average and a .910 save percentage. So the Blues and the Sharks for the second of 3 meetings this year. The Blues won the first one in overtime 3-2, and we dropped the puck here at center ice as the Blues control wearing their old Blues uniforms that they wore a season ago instead of the light blue New Note logos that they switched to. They got the black dark blue helmets almost with the blue jerseys with the traditional Blue Note logo on it with the white and yellow stripes on the shoulder and the bottom of the sweater. They're attacking left to right in this first period, and here they come over the Blue Note logo. Far wing, it's Dvorsky out here with Snuggerud and Holloway. Puck played down behind the San Jose goal to our right, and it's taken up the boards by the Sharks, but it goes out of play into the San Jose bench, and San Jose attacking right to left in this first period wearing their traditional road white uniforms with the black and teal stripes on the bottom with teal pants and teal helmets. Also, there's storms in my area. Maybe you could see the lightning behind me as it strikes. If the stream randomly goes out, you could assume power, but let's hope that that doesn't happen. So 36 seconds gone by here in this opening period from St. Louis. Face off to the right of San Jose's goaltender Askarov, won by the Sharks. As up the near wing, it bounces off to the far side, and into neutral ice, it'll be regathered back by San Jose. Now out to neutral ice, a pass goes off of Parayko, but right back to the Sharks as Mukmadulin in his own end. Now go D to Mario Ferraro. Ferraro up the far right wing. Be tipped into the zone by William Eklund. Parayko on it first for the St. Louis Blues as he plays it around to the near side. And back behind the St. Louis net, it'll roll to the far corner down to our left. Here's Lindstein with it. Up the far left wing for Neighbors. Cross ice pass near side. It's Kyrou onside. Played it on net, deflected to the far corner off of Ferraro. Now in behind the San Jose goal line. Here's Bushnevich. Can't work past Mukmadulin as he played it off the far boards for San Jose. It rolls into St. Louis ice. Kessel chasing back on it for the Blues. Paired on defense tonight with Cam Fowler, who has the puck now. Sent it on the near right side for Stenberg. Now out through center comes St. Louis. Stenberg on the far wing, or Berggren I should say, into the San Jose zone with a shot and a save made by Askarov. That shot by Jonathan Berggren, acquired from Detroit via waivers. He's out here on a line tonight with Pius Suter and Otto Stenberg. The other lines for the St. Louis Blues. Top line, Dvorsky with Snuggerud and Holloway. Bushnevich with Kyrou and Neighbors. The fourth line, Finley with Walker and Toropchenko. Face off to the right of Askarov. It'll be Suter out here against Michael Misa for this draw. And off the draw, Misa's able to win it clean. Behind the San Jose net, it goes down to our right. Dickinson moves it up the wing, and now it'll bounce out the center. No, it won't, as Graf can't clear. And back behind the San Jose goal, it'll go again. Askarov to the far wall for the ex-Blue Nick Leddy. Played it as far as the blue line. It does squeak out to neutral ice, so it'll be Tyler Toffoli playing it back now into St. Louis ice, and Kessel will leave it back for Hofer. Now behind the St. Louis net, it's Kessel. Kessel up the near right wing. Dickinson put it right back where it came from. Fowler will try now. He's hounded by two right sweaters, and the puck deflects out of play. And we get a stoppage 17:48 17:48 remaining in the first period. I think there's a lot of hail going on outside right now. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I'm going to stay quiet real quick. It's really coming down. I don't know if you guys could hear that. But yeah, it's a mess outside right now, so hopefully we stay put right here. Face off to the right of Hofer at the near left wing dot for the Sharks, able to win it. Leddy will play it down low as Parayko now tried to move it up the wing, can't advance it. But now Toropchenko muscles it out the center. The Sharks will try and reset. Here's Zach Ostapchuk on the fourth line tonight with Adam Gaudette and Barclay Goodrow as Gaudette played it right back to the near corner down to our right. Finley trying to dig it out for St. Louis, acquired on waivers from Tampa Tampa Bay earlier this year, as it's back down behind the San Jose goal to our right. Dickinson being hounded by Toropchenko. Nice drop pass to Letty, who skates back behind the San Jose net. Now up the left wing comes Ostapchuk. He flipped it over the St. Louis blue line, and behind the goal it'll go. Hofer will stick it back to Parayko, the longest tenured blue on the near side. Almost got traded to Buffalo at the deadline before he shut that down. Puck now down to our right again behind the San Jose goal line. Rolls around the goal, pinching is Broberg, who's been on a tear lately on the back end for St. Louis. Played it back around the goal. It popped back to him on the far left wing. Chipped it up to Holloway. Got it to Kyrou. In the slide, here's Dvorsky. Back in the slot, Holloway had it taken away by Celebrini. Here come the Sharks 3-on-2, far wing. Here's Chernyshov over the line. Got it poked off his blade by Broberg. Now on the far wing, down low, Celebrini trying to center from behind the goal line. Pressed up against the boards by Holloway. Centered it now. Smith a shot. Didn't get to the goal. Pop far wing, Chernyshov. Up now to the near side. Desharnais slings it to Orlov. Orlov along the left wing boards. Delayed penalty coming up here on the Blues. And now it will be a hooking call that'll send San Jose to the first power play of the game. I think my window's a little cracked, so just give me 1 second. I'm not going to play with this. Be right back. 20 seconds. Not even 20 seconds. All right, yeah, not even 20 seconds. We're all good. So to the box, it's going to be Broberg actually going to the box for St. Louis. So now it sounds less loud in here. I was wondering why the storm was so horrifically loud for me. But it sounds much quieter now. But San Jose to the game's first power play here. And they win the draw to the right of Hofer. Crosses a one-timer for Celebrini. Shut down there by Hofer. Cleaned up and thrown out the center by the Blues. As now on the reset, Smith will drop it off. Here's Celebrini. The Sharks power play 18th in the NHL this year. The Blues PK 28th. Smith, far right wing circle. Played it down low behind the goal. Celebrini back up to the far point, but Orlov not there to keep it. Has to sling it this way in front of the penalty boxes for Wenberg. At the logo, Orlov now. Dropped it back at the Blue Note logo for Celebrini. Glides in straight away to the far right wing circle. Banked it off the boards to Toffoli. Toffoli down low to Celebrini. Back to Toffoli, far side. Up it goes to Orlov. Now on the far wing, it's Toffoli again. Near side, Smith. To the far wall, Celebrini. A shot, right pad save, Hofer. Parayko trying to clear, can't. Orlov a great keep. Now it's sent up. Buchnevich takes it and got it to Suter. The Blues thought they could have had an odd man rush the other way, but a tie-up and neutral ice prevented that. Also, if you guys could hear me, I feel like my audio is not as great right now. Let me know you could hear me in the chat. I think we're all good, though, as the Blues now have a minute to go on their penalty kill. The Sharks here take it back away in their own zone. As up on the far wing, Wenberg wants to change, so he'll drop it off for Kiefer Sherwood. Now in the Sharks defensive zone, Dickinson with 43 left on this man advantage. Lurked it out to neutral ice for Chernyshov. Now on the far wing, Eklund got it over the line, dropped for Sherwood. At the point, Dickinson. Far wall, Eklund at the right wing circle, looking for an option with a half minute to go on the power play. Put it down low, Misa. Back to Eklund, far half boards. Up to the point it goes for Dickinson. Long wrist shot, blocked in front, came to Hofer. He poked it right to Sherwood, though, and now behind Chernyshov. And he'll sling it back up to the right wing circle for Eklund. This way, Dickinson, long shot, missed to the far post. Along the far wing, it rolls to Eklund. Back down low, Misa. Michael Misa behind the St. Louis net in the trapezoid. Deeks to the near corner. Up it goes Chernyshov to the point Dickinson. Far circle now Eklund. William Eklund surveying. Power play time now up for the Sharks as Eklund tried a shot. Blocked in front Toropchenko. He cleared it ahead. It won't be icing. And the Blues have survived that San Jose power play. So the Blues are back to full and equal strength here. The Sharks getting some fresh bodies on as well, as now the Kyrou line hops over the boards with Buchnevich and Neighbors for St. Louis, and it'll be the fourth line of Gaudet, Ostapchuk, and Goodrow for the Sharks. The Blues in their defensive zone to our left have Kessel straight away out to center. Over the logo he goes. Now the San Jose blue line, it's taken away Gaudet, but a stoppage in play here for an offsides. That'll send us to break with under 13 minutes remaining in the opening period. Scoreless hockey so far here in St. Louis. Back here in St. Louis, and the Blues are going to go on the power play as Adam Gaudette was called for a hook for San Jose. So now it's the Blues' turn with the man advantage here tonight. And my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me here on my YouTube channel. I wasn't joking about those storms. I looked at the radar and it's showing rotation popping up. I mean, there's no tornado warnings or anything, but it is a strong storm, as I was kind of distracted by it in the first 5 minutes. But 13:51 remaining here in a scoreless first period. The Blues just killed off a penalty, a power play of their own now, as their power play is 28th in the NHL, just like their penalty kill is. The Sharks PK, 17th in the league, 28th though on the road compared to being 3rd on home ice. So the Blues fans doing their power plug dance. I went to a game there last year, actually discovered what that was. Didn't know it as 10 years of a hockey fan. It's the most ridiculous thing, but I notice it every time now in this building. Face off to the right of Askarov that the Sharks are able to win. They move it up the near wing but can't clear. Snuggerud the keep. Holloway played it to the far point. Broberg played it along the wall of the neighbors. Touched it down to the trapezoid. It's taken by Ferraro. Shot up the near side glass. And down the ice it goes. So the Blues chasing back here on the power play. Again, all power plays powered by YouTube. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would appreciate it very much. Normally I'm on the Ultimate Sports Media channel, but we're currently under some copyright construction on that side. So here's Neighbors back into the San Jose zone. Far wall, put it up to the point. Broberg back to Neighbors, far corner. Snuggerud tipped it back up to Broberg at the point. Straight away, looking. Far circle. Here's Snuggerud. A shot blocker saved by Askarov as it goes out of play to the far corner. So 1:17 left on the St. Louis power play, 13:08 to go in period number 1, as Jimmy Snuggerud has 13 points so far in 11 games in the month of March. He become the first Blues rookie with 15 or more points in a single calendar month since Rod Brindamore, the Canes coach and the Stanley Cup winner in Carolina in 2006, did it back in 1989. Sharks win a D-zone draw to the right of Askarov. Down the ice it goes back to St. Louis territory with 68 seconds to go on their power play. Holloway with speed up through neutral ice, near wall into the San Jose zone, put it in the slot. Fowler kick to the stick, near right wing circle, pulled up to the point for Holloway. Holloway looking, shooting, blocked off the leg of Barclay Gaudreau, and back to center it goes. 50 seconds remain now for the Blues on this man advantage. Shots are just 2-1 in favor of the St. Louis Blues in this game. The one Shark shot coming on the power play just a moment ago, as now on the push and back entry for St. Louis, who are attacking left to right in this period. Kyrou over the Shark line straight away. Played it far left wing Suter. Got it back for Mayu. Here is Pius Suter down to the far quarter. Kyrou played it in the slot. Fowler got tied up but stayed with it. Backhanded it this way for Mayu. Mayu with 4 assists in his last handful of games. Sent it across to Kyrou far circle. Kyrou trying to shield off to the point. Fowler. 17 to go on the power play. Near circle it's Buchnevich. Near right wing corner. Looking still, working it up to the top of the circle now. Looking for Elena, shot deflected off the stick of Fowler in behind Kyrou for Suter. Back up the right wing boards, Buchnevich tried to go down low. Taking away Sherwood, he'll backhand it down the ice, that'll do it for the St. Louis man advantage. Both teams here early on coming through with a penalty kill, as we're still scoreless through 8 minutes and 20 seconds here in this game tonight. So Mayu with the puck for St. Louis, up the right wing boards. Toropchenko tipped it in from neutral ice. Behind it goes for Askarov. He played it up the far wall, got off the skates of Jack Finley, as now he tried to kick it. Walker shot it. Nice play there, but a good save by Askarov. Rebound up the near left side, and out to center it'll go. Will it be an icing? It might be, and it will, as Lindstein gets back, and he beat Will Smith to it. So the Blues get another offensive zone draw coming up here with 11:22 remaining in period number 1. So I mentioned in the open, the San Jose Sharks took one on the chin in Nashville on Tuesday. They gave up 5 goals in the opening period to the Preds and never really got back in it after that. Will Smith tried with a pair of goals in that game, established a career high for him with 46 points, but a critical game for the Sharks in the standings against Nashville, who hold the final wildcard spot, did not go their way. They've dropped 14 straight now to the Predators. They got 2 games left against them this year. Blues win an O-zone draw to the right of Askarov. It goes around the goal to the near side now in the San Jose zone, and the Sharks are able to get it to center. Suter played it back at the logo. Now on the near wing, here's Bergeron back into the Shark zone. In the slot, Parayko tried to go glove side high on Askarov, just missed to the far post. Askarov again catches with his right hand, not his left, kind of rare for an NHL goalie, so a bit of a different obstacle for the Blues to overcome in this game. Parayko, far point, backhands it down low. Askarov wanted to play it. The Sharks defenseman cut him off, Desharnais, and it's sent back to center. The Blues will reset reset again. Besides that Shark power play, the Blues have had all the possession here at 5-on-5 so far in this game, as they still control in their defensive zone. Broberg with it, looking in front of his bench, peels back now and from straight away sends it to the near wall for Mayu. Over the red and the blue, tipped it into the Shark zone and just ran over a Shark in the process. As now down to our right behind the goal, Buchnevich kicked it up the far wing. It got poked now to Broberg, sent it this way. Mayu in the slot with a shot, blocker save made there by Askarov. Now Buchnevich tried to center to Neighbors. It got deflected off the stick of Orlov. Near wall to Foley got it to center. The Blues though resetting quickly on the near side. It's Neighbors back over the San Jose line. He goes. 4 white sweaters converge on him, and the takeaway now by Toffoli. Toffoli at the red line will just snap it in. He's had a long shift to the bench. He goes now on the near side. Graf off a turnover by Mayu. Played it to the point. Orlov tried to go right back to Graf, but it's taken away by Neighbors. Played to the center ice logo, and now the Sharks try and reset in on the near side. Misa's hit as he enters to the blue zone. Dropped it off though nicely to Graf. Left wing circle. Flung it on net. Stick to the wall by far wall by Hofer. Now Leddy down low with it. Turned it over, but it went to Graf, who flung it on net. Came to the near wall for Dickinson. His shot went off a Graf skate. Deflected to the far right wing circle. Holloway on it for the Blues. Turned it over to Misa behind the Blues goal line to our left. Now into the near corner. On it for St. Louis's Snuggerud. He absorbs a hit and launched a puck to center. It won't be icing. On his horse is Holloway to nullify it, and he gets sandwiched into the far corner boards by Nick Leddy. Now in that far corner, the puck comes free. It's deflected now by Goodrow. It came up to the blue line, and now sending it this way to Kessel is Fowler. Now Kessel, straight away Snuggerud. Shot goes off the left pad of Askarov. It deflects out of play. And with 9 minutes even to go in the first period, we'll head to another break. Still searching for the game's first goal in this one. Scoreless hockey in St. Louis. Welcome back to St. Louis. Still scoreless between the Sharks and the Blues here in this one. Jaric Rubel, glad you are with me on my YouTube channel. The next time you'll hear from me, it'll be back on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. It'll be on Tuesday the 31st when the Flyers and Capitals go toe-to-toe in a Metropolitan Division battle. As the Caps need points, the Flyers are surging. And with 3 important games against the Red Wings left for them, they're certainly in that Eastern Conference playoff race. So face-off here down to our right, to the left of Askarov, won by the Blues. Finley, shot to the net by Fowler, and gloved easily by Askarov. So with 8:57 to go in the first period, we'll have another face-off coming up to the Shark netminders left. Askarov in his career against the St. Louis Blues, he's only seen him once. He lost in overtime, allowing 2 goals on 31 shots in that game. Face-off to his left, won by the Blues to the back. Kessel one-timer, big right pad save made by Askarov. Rebound to the far wall that Finley puts back behind the goal line. Mukmadulin put it up the near right side for the Sharks, and out the center it goes. Sherwood over the line he goes, got a man into the zone and clipped Finley up high. Doesn't look like it was called. It was a high stick, and there was a reaction too, but no call from the official. On top of it was Garrett Rank, paired tonight with Brandon Blandina, the linesmen Andrew Smith and David Brisebois. So the Sharks down to our left, controlling the blue zone. Up top, it's Mook Madulin. His shot deflects into the near corner. Nobody knew where it was. Sherwood finds it. Back up top, Mook Madulin. Cross Ferraro. One-timer blocked by Finley skate. Now Ferraro back on at far wall. Stashed it down low. But a takeaway there nicely by St. Louis. Played it to the near side. And Torpchenko now trying to clear. Pinned to the boards by Sherwood. And the puck will squirt free up to the point, and the Sharks keep it. Mook Madulin to the far wall, got it back from Ferraro. Now near side Sherwood, one-timer, swallowed up by Hofer, as that one hit him right in the blue note on his chest. So face-off here coming up now in the O-zone for the Sharks to the right of the St. Louis netminder Joel Hofer. As Joel Hofer, he's been real good for the Blues as of late, as he stopped all 21 shots he faced on Tuesday against Washington. 18th win of the year, 6 shutout for him, and he's 6-0-2 in his last 8 starts and 16-6-3 since November 29th after the Thanksgiving break. So playing better than Binnington this season, and they're riding the hot hand as the Sharks win the draw to his right at the far circle. Here's Desharnais, a shot blockered away there by Hofer. Up the near side, it goes to Orlov. Played it back behind the Blues goal. Celebrini shot one off the back of the net. It bounced up the near side. Smith a good takeaway here on Snuggerud. Now Snuggerud trying to get it back. Did throw it up, but not out. Near point Orlov. Across it goes Desharnais. Switches spots with Celebrini. Controls now between the circles in the slot. Drop for Smith, and a shot blocked down, not out. Here's Celebrini. Now down to the left wing circle. Put it up by Smith. His shot over the crossbar and got the glass. On the far right side, now it's Holloway. Out to center, Mayu. The Blues have numbers the other way. Over the lines, Mayu. Misdirection created with Snuggerud, but they're going to be offside, says the official, with 7:16 remaining here in the first period. So the Blues here still searching for the game's first goal, as are the Sharks. Both of these teams about the same record when scoring first. The Sharks 29-3 when scoring first. The Blues 21-10-8 when scoring first. So pretty much identical records when they score the game's first goal. So it'll be important here for each of these teams who have been strong when scoring first. Face off in front of the Shark bench, as it'll be Adam Gaudette stepping in here for the Sharks. He'll go up against what won't be Pius Suter as he's getting tossed out. It'll now be Otto Stenberg. As off the draw, Stenberg won it so clean, it's all the way back behind the St. Louis goal to our left. And now Hofer sticked it to Parayko on the near right side. Up the boards it goes, rolls past the penalty boxes. Dickinson collects at his own blue line for the Sharks. Now it's thrown up the far right side into the St. Louis zone once again. Parayko moved it along enough for Lindstein to get it up the wall. Now unable to move it is Stenberg. Now it does deflect off a skate to center. Berggren will carry. Tried to hit Suter in stride over the Shark line. Couldn't, as Dickinson steers it back to center. Pop now to the Blues logo. Carried Ostapchuk over the line. Made a man miss. Tried a shot. It got blocked in behind by Parayko on the back check. Around the Blues goal, the puck goes at the far point. Here's Leddy. Backhanding it down to the far corner. Down to our left. Here's Goodrow out of that far corner. To the point, Leddy. To the near side, it's Dickinson. Skating now between the dots at the blue line. Long wrist shot gloved there by Hofer, who saw it all the way, as he'll hold it for a whistle with 6:25 to go here in this first period. So again, coming up on Tuesday, it's the Flyers and the Capitals. That'll be a run of 3 in a row for me on the Ultimate Sports Media channel. The next night, these Blues will be in action again in LA against the Kings. And then the night after that, it'll be the Canucks taking on Quinn Hughes and the Wild. The first meeting between those two teams since the trade. Haven't done a Canucks game all year. And yeah, they might be dead last in the NHL. But I still want to bring all 32 teams to you guys. So why not do that one? It makes the most sense. Face off here to the left of Hofer in the far corner down to our left. Misa's to take the draw for San Jose. Just kidding. He's tossed out. Graf now steps in against Bushnevich. Off the draw, Bushnevich won it to the back. Fowler out of the far corner, played it up the far left wing. Touch now near the logo for Kyrou, but it's taken back by the Sharks' Misa, who sends it in. Behind the goal, it's Hofer. From the trapezoid, gave it to Fowler. He now starts behind his own net. Let's see if he starts a rush play up the far wing and tries to go through neutral ice, as he tends to do that. Nope, he'll carry it himself and dump it in from the red line between the benches. Behind the Shark goal to our right, Askarov put it in the skates at Toffoli, but he found the handle and played it to center. And now it's deflected back into St. Louis ice on the near side. net. Lumberjacking at it was Kessel. It stays in the near corner. Graf picks it up for the Sharks. Skates from low to high. Left it at the blue line. Mook Madulin put it back around the goal. To the far corner, Ferraro down low. Played it up top to Graf. Covering. Long shot. Save made Hofer. Rebound. Another left pad save on the follow-up by Misa. As now Fowler hoisted out the center at the Blue Note logo. Here's a nice keep by Ferraro. Played it back in. Straight ahead near side. It's Graf. Graf now twisting into the near corner. Pressed against the glass by Kessel but stays with it. Played it up to the blue line. Shot by Ferraro. Deflects off a skate to the far corner. Fowler now on it as the Blues are on their heels. He'll leave it in behind for Kessel as the Blues make a change. And Kessel from behind his own net up the near side for Buchnevich. Will now wait as the top line fully gets on for Jim Montgomery's Blues. So Buchnevich to the far wall. Here's Holloway. Twisting through center. Avoided a stick check. Into the Shark zone now. Far circle. Puts on the brakes. Left it down low. Snuggerud's trying to get there. He's out-muscled though nicely by Orlov. Up the wall it goes. The Sharks trying to get it out. Having trouble with it. Can't. Here's Parayko near wall. Played it behind the Shark goal. Askarov can't grab it. It rolls to the far side. Dvorsky now tied up with a pair of Sharks as it's poked now freely to San Jose. And now looking to move it up on the far side is Wenberg. Went to the near side instead. Orlov bumped it up the boards to Eklund. He couldn't enter the Shark zone, the Blues zone cleanly, I apologize, as now they take over. St. Louis does in their own zone with 4.5 remaining in the opening period. Jaric Rubel with you here, live on my YouTube channel. Glad you've joined me on a Thursday night. There's baseball on, but there's also hockey, as I hope you all enjoyed opening day earlier, supporting whichever team you might root for. Cubbies took one on the chin against the Nasty Nats, but it's only one game of 162. They all matter, though, and if they miss the playoffs by a game, maybe that's the one you'll look back to. But now here come the Sharks through neutral ice. Nothing will happen, though, as Chernishev's knocked off the puck, and it'll roll right to Hofer, who's going to cover. And with 4 minutes even, 5 minutes exactly after the last commercial break, we'll head to another, the last one of the first period, still scoreless in St. Louis. Welcome back here into St. Louis, where it's Star Wars night at the Enterprise Center, as fans were gifted a bunch of Star Wars prizes and goodies early if they got into the building early here tonight, as they're still looking for the game's first goal here in attendance, as neither team has found the back of the net. St. Louis and San Jose here scoreless in the final 4 minutes of this first period. Jaric Rubel with you here live on my YouTube channel, as the Avalanche and Stars are the first two teams to clinch a spot into the Stanley Cup playoffs. The last team in the West holding a spot is the Nashville Predators. Both these teams are trying to catch them. The Sharks are 7 points back. The Blues are 8. The Sharks have 2 more games remaining against Nashville. Off a faceoff to the right of Hofer. Down to our left, it's won by the Blues top line. Holloway escapes to center. From the red line, chipped it into the far corner of the San Jose zone down to our right. Dickinson turned it right on Snuggerud's blade. He put it back behind the goal for Holloway. Holloway trying to protect here, taking away Celebrini. Up the wall for Smith, poked out now to center. And bouncing puck in front of the Shark bench will be grabbed again by Holloway. Nice re-entry into the Shark zone. Poke check though, it is now Snuggerud has to whack it down low. It comes right to Askarov. He's going to elect to cover. And that whistle will come with 3:30 remaining now in period number 1. So the Blues are 8-1-2 in this month of March. That's fourth most wins in the NHL. Buffalo, Columbus, and Ottawa all have 9, and then Columbus has 21. They've been rolling. And the Blues, they've just allowed 1.55 goals against per game this month. That's the least in the entire NHL. And Snuggerud leads the league among all rookies in the NHL in the month of March with 13 points, which I noted earlier. So the Blues are playing well in the month of March. They went 12-2-1 in it last year and backdoored a playoff berth on the final day of the year with a win against Utah. We'll see what this season has for them as they're 8 points back now. And they have, again, 2 games left, including this one against San Jose, 1 against the Kings, as now the Sharks are back in real quick. Here's Gaudette from the left wing circle. A shot didn't make it to the net, was blocked in behind. But the Blues, they have games against the Sharks and the Kings. Meanwhile, the Predators, they have 2 games left against both the Sharks and the Kings. So if the Kings and Sharks can get their revenge back on Nashville too, and the Blues do their work against those teams, then the Blues could be looking good. And the Sharks, they just got to win these head-to-head games against the teams that they're behind, and they'll be looking good. The West is not great. So this race is so open. That's why this game might not look sexy on paper, but it actually has a lot of underlying meaning. Down to our right now, the Blues are back in the O-zone. Parayko played it along the boards. Berggren's tied up with Orlov in the near corner. Now it's played behind the San Jose goal by Desharnais. Eklund will collect, played it right back to Desharnais in the trapezoid with 2:35 remaining in the first, as now a pass on the left wing hits Eklund in stride. Over the red line, now the blue into the blue zone. Backhanded it along the wall, came to Wenberg, as Wenberg nudged it at the blue line. Mukmadulin put it around the goal. Comes to the near corner, down to the left. Parayko moved it up, not out. Wenberg kept it again. Wenberg at the near half boards, put it behind the St. Louis net. Ferraro shielding. Nice touch pass to Eklund, who gave it back to Ferraro in the far corner. Back behind the goal line, it's Eklund. Near circle, Wenberg. Now down low, Eklund. Great puck movement here by the Sharks, but the pass intended for Sherwood's taken away. Now here come the Blues. Kyrou out the center, fed it far wall for Neighbors. Tried to give it back to him, but it was intended for Kyrou and grabbed by Mukmadulin instead, who now controls it in the San Jose zone with under 2 minutes to go in the first. Sent it out the center. At the red line, Ferraro dumped it in from in front of the penalty boxes. Down to our left, it's Hofer. Played it in the trapezoid up the near side. It goes out of play. Was it deflected off the wall or not? As no sign of the official here, but it looks like it's going to stay 5-on-5 with 1:41 to go in the game's opening period. Shots are now 7-6 San Jose, as the Blues once led 5-1 in the shot category, but the Sharks now out shooting the Blues 6-1 here in the last several minutes of the first period. So face off here to the right of Hofer. We stay 5-on-5 after that puck went out of play. No delay of game penalty, as Misa appears to be getting tossed out of the draw again. So in steps Graf, as now Graf will go up against Finley and win it clean. On the near left side, Dickinson rides the boards down low. Played it on top of the paint. Save made by Hofer on the tip by Graf. Here come the Blues on the counterattack. Right wing Finley snaps it in. Around the goal it'll go. Hofer, I should say, Askarov stopped it. Played it up the far wall. Dickinson shoots it off the glass, and to center it goes. Broberg gloved it down at the red line. Played it back up on the far wing just over the San Jose line, but it bounces right back, and I guess offsides is whistled, as the linesman on top was able to recognize that through all that chaos, the Blues touched it when they shouldn't have. So 79 seconds remain in this opening period, as Macklin Celebrini and the Sharks trying to get an important 2 points in this game, as he's having a historic sophomore season, ranking fifth in the league with 95 points in just 69 games played. He's been in a bit of a dry spell lately, though, as Celebrini's trying to get the Sharks back on the right track. Blues win a neutral zone draw. It's back into San Jose ice. Far corner, Dvorsky's on it, replacing Robert Thomas here on the top line. Fought through a check-in behind by Dickinson. To the right point, Parayko, one-timer, blocked in front by his own man, Buchnevich. Came to Desharnais now for the Sharks. Sent it on the near side, Celebrini. Nice pass over the Blues line. Tried to get it to Chernishev, but Snuggerud read it like a book ultimately and got it back to center. And Celebrini will snap it back in. Final 50 of this opening frame. Fowler on the near side for Snuggerud for St. Louis. Put it on the logo for Dvorsky. Skates straight away over the Shark line. Now from the far left wing, wrapped it around the goal. In the near corner, Holloway trying to get it. Can't. Now the Sharks shoot it off the near glass. This goes out of play, but that was also deflected, says the linesman. So Andrew Smith says, oh, they are going to call a penalty. No, they're not. Did it hit a fan? It might have just hit a fan. As now we see in the penalty box, it didn't hit a fan. It looks like he's trying to dig it out from under the seat. Now he has the puck, and he gets a high five from the dude in front of him. That's why dudes rock. Just chuckle like that out of nowhere over somebody trying to get a puck from right underneath where your butt basically is. It scared the wife of the dude who ended up with the puck. She was shell-shocked, a little, oh my God kind of reaction, but her hubby goes home with the souvenir. So good for him. Has a nice smile on his face now laughing with the dude in front of him. Of course, the dudes are going to have a lifelong memory out of this. Now the wife's laughing. She came around, not scared anymore. That's good to see. So now face off to the left of Askarov. Won by the Sharks in their defensive zone. Ferraro put it off the linesman, though, and it won't clear. Mayu played it back to the corner. Mukmadulin moved it up. Now Ostapchuk will try and twist out of there. It will get to center. 20 seconds to go in the first period. Up the left wing side. Goddard over the Blues line. Got a stick lifted, but it came to good draw. Across it goes. Right pad save by Hofer on Ostapchuk. What a good one. Now a stretch pass intended for Kyrou. It won't connect, though, as it could have been a breakaway. But in the final 8 seconds of the period, the Sharks on the far side in their own zone will pull cue it out to center. And that'll do it here for the first period tonight. So shots are 9-6 San Jose through the first 20 minutes, and we're scoreless here in St. Louis. When these teams are tied through 20 minutes this year, the Sharks are 12-15 and 3, not 12-5 and 3. That's a 15, not a 5. And the Blues are 14-9 and 3 themselves. Those are the numbers through 20 minutes of play. Not a whole heck of a lot happened. Some good saves by Hofer. The Blues didn't really test Askarov all too much. Maybe a blocker save that was pretty eye-opening, but other than that, not too much headed towards Askarov's way with the 6 shots that he faced. The hits in that period, though, 12-7 in favor of the Blues. So don't go anywhere. Be back for the middle period in about 15 minutes. You're listening to this NHL Watchalong live on YouTube. It's the Sharks and the Blues, scoreless here in the Gateway to the West. Back in St. Louis, where we're set to begin the second period at Enterprise Center, just around the block from Busch Stadium, where the St. Louis Cardinals won on opening day 9-7 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Here it's scoreless between the Blues and the San Jose Sharks. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me here on a Thursday night live on YouTube. Shots were only 9-6 in favor of the Sharks in the first period. Each team came up empty-handed on the power play, and Joel Hofer, he was really good in goal for the Blues in the first period. The Sharks had at least 3 really quality chances that came his way, and he was able to stop all 9 of them that came towards him. And the Blues here in the period of the long change try to get cleaned up. They have a -20 goal differential. The Sharks isn't great. It's -9, but it's not -20, as the Blues have struggled in the periods of the long change, as it'll be Celebrini against Finley to begin this game. Again, this period, top line against fourth line, and the fourth line for the Blues wins it. Mayu snaps it in down to our left as the Blues attack right to left. In this second period, the Sharks going left to right. Again, Jaric Rubel here with you on my YouTube channel as the Blues controlled in the far corner in the zone to our left. Toropchenko, a shot from the wing, got blocked up in the air by Askarov. Came up the near side now. The Sharks' Will Smith sends it out to center, as this will be offsides now on the Blues, as Mayu just didn't look to see where his teammates were and collected a puck while Nathan Walker was still in the defense or in the offensive zone. So first whistle coming 26 seconds in here to period number 2, is trying to go far glove side was Toropchenko on that shot from the far wall, but just getting a piece of it there was Askarov, as now the fourth line heads off the ice for Jim Montgomery, who's growing some facial hair. Not too used to that from him. I watch enough hockey to see when things start to look unorthodox, and Monty looking a little different there on the Blues bench, as now a face-off in front of that Blues bench is going to be won by Wenberg and the Sharks, as now it's launched up the near side by Ferraro, missing everybody with the pass. It won't go far enough for icing, though. So Parayko plays it around his goal on the right-hand side, behind to the trapezoid. It comes back to him. Parayko turned it over right on the blade of Eklund, twisting with it on the near half boards. He played it towards the net, blocked in front by his own man Wenberg, played it back in the slot, couldn't connect with the pass. Now on the far wards, Mukmadulin a shot. Didn't make it towards the net either. The Sharks can't keep it in. The Blues are out, as now on the near side, Holloway won't get there before Mukmadulin does, as the Sharks are able to get there before Blues odd man rush commences. Now a big collision on the far side as Mukmadulin absorbed a hit from one of 2 Blues. Didn't see a number of who it was, but down to our left, Mario Ferraro sits with the biscuit, as we've played 75 seconds here in the second period. He played it up the right-hand side past the penalty boxes for Eklund, but instead it's in possession of the Blues' Cam Fowler, and now out to center he comes. Far wing pass for Buchnevich, couldn't hold it. Bounces into the corner of the Shark zone on the far side. Played back up by Desharnais, not out as Parayko kept it with a skate. Got it back to Buchnevich, far wing, half boards. Played it up now near the blue line, up to Kessel, one-timer, save made by the right pad Askarov. Now in the slot, Fowler lost his positioning. The Sharks trying to counterattack as the Blues end up staying with it. And in front of the Sharks bench, Kyrou resets. Pass goes off the skate of Buchnevich, right to Fowler. Over the line they go, near side Neighbors. Had it bounce off his blade, got in the slot for Kyrou, couldn't field it cleanly, looked over his shoulder in the near corner, got taken down by Toffoli, no call, as the puck comes right back around the Shark goal. Mukmadulin up the far boards, can't get it out on that far wing. Played out the center. Misa got it out. Now a foot race might be a chance for Toffoli. He's over the Blues line. Just had to shoot it as Mayu was on the doorstep, and it missed the net. Came back up the far side. San Jose kept it in momentarily, but it's back to Mayu. Now slung it in front of the penalty boxes for Broberg. Skates on the left wing into the Shark zone. Chipped it behind to the trapezoid. Around the goal, Stenberg had a blowout, but the puck came back to him far wall. Dropped it now off for Mayu down low, trying to stay with it. Can't quite keep it. It's on Stenberg's blade, though, covering at the point. Now it's off his, and the Sharks are back to center. So Graff will dump it back in for San Jose as they change and get the fourth line on the ice. Meanwhile, the Blues in their defensive zone put a pizza on Gaudette's blade thanks to Mayu. He's back behind the goal, got hit hard in behind by Mayu. These refs are letting him play. I swear some of these things look like penalties, as Mayu should have gone to the box for St. Louis. Now the trailing official has his arm up, and we have a fight. Ostapchuk and Mayu. Ostapchuk stepping in here to the aid of his teammate as Ostapchuk's throwing some rights. He hits Mayu right in the left ear. Another one right in his left ear. A third, a fourth. He's pounding him like a drum. Here's Ostapchuk again right here. Mayu's a dang punching bag as his left ear's now cut. And he's going to say, I've had enough. as Zach Ostapchuk just beat the ever-living brakes out of Logan Mailloux. The Blues bench and their fans are tapping the sticks and cheering. Mailloux just got dummied, and now he's going to go to the bench with a cut on the side of his face, or the penalty box, I should say. And Ostapchuk will sit looking like a mean man as the Sharks here come up with a big fight win. I mean, you don't get credit for any of those, but Gaudette got crunched in behind by Mailloux, and I think it should have been a boarding, a call on Mailloux. And then Ostapchuk stepped right back up, and I think he's going to get an instigator penalty because the referee had his arm up trailing, and then the fight happened, and that's going to be my guess because Ostapchuk 100% got Mailloux into that fight, and yeah, he beat the brakes off him too. Like, I mean, like, a lot of those rights were, connecting. They were tough. And Mailloux obviously also in the box, but I don't think he's going to get tagged with anything. And yeah, the instigator penalty is official. So the Blues to the power play. Hey, that fight might have just energized them, even if their teammate just got absolutely walloped. So we'll see what happens. They're 0-for-1 on the power play tonight. The Blues fans are all into this. They're doing, good for them. I guess, any fight will cheer a hockey fan up in attendance. But it's a power play here for St. Louis, as we're still waiting here to drop the puck. As now we're getting another look at the fight. As, yeah, Ostapchuk just controlled the whole time. But, the Blues bench still gave their stick taps. And now they get a power play out of it. So the knuckles here of Ostapchuk, they're all beaten up, and they're showing him in the penalty box. Yeah, he got in a fight, that's for sure. That's some bare knuckle stuff right there. Mailloux, he's standing up in the box. I don't know how he's feeling. That dude's probably got his ears ringing right now. But the Sharks lose the draw. The Blues control on the power play. Far circle. Holloway is shot at a save made Askarov. Rebound in behind. Now Neighbors got upended by Ferraro. Free to the far corner. Now here's Holloway. Holloway up the far wall to the point Broberg. Broberg on the blue line to the far wall. Holloway. A minute 40 to go on the power play for St. Louis. Now Dvorsky right wing circle. Dvorsky at the dot, looking for a lane. Played it down low to Kyrou on his off wing. Goes behind the San Jose net. On the left side, it's Neighbors at the circle. To the corner. Back behind Kyrou now in the trapezoid. Blues working it down low here beneath the dots a lot on this man advantage. Kyrou in the far corner to Holloway far circle to the point Broberg. Broberg to Holloway, and it got deflected en route, but it made it. Now slung down low Kyrou in the slot. Dvorsky, his shot, save made Askarov. Rebound to the far wall. Ferraro can't get it. Dvorsky got it to Holloway at the far circle. Holloway in the slot. Broberg had to kick to the stick. Looking for a lane now as he back skates at the blue line. To the left dot, it's Kyrou. A minute to go on the power play. Down low Neighbors trying to feed it across. It's deflected by Ferraro. The Sharks get it. They'll clear. And the Blues have to chase back with 50 seconds left on their man advantage. So Hofer collects in the slot as he came out of his blue paint. He'll leave it for Broberg now as Broberg carries out through center. Only one power play assist for him this year. Sees over the line into the far circle. Try to dance past Ferraro. Create space. Now the Blues have changed and got back in the zone. They haven't changed actually. Top unit still out there. Just Pius Suter has replaced Kyrou. Far circle. Holloway tried to play it in the slot. It came up to the blue line. Kept in Broberg. Played around the goal. Suter. Back to the right wing circle, Holloway. Shielding on Goodrow out of the far corner. Behind the goal, Suter again. Going back to Holloway, far circle. Blues have good movement, but no good shots on that. Fowler to the near circle. Berggren out there in front. Suter trying to baseball swing it. A save made Askarov. Rebound in behind. Goodrow sends it up the far wall. It gets out to center. And the Sharks have survived that St. Louis power play. So we stay scoreless here through the first 5 minutes of the second period. Shots even at 10 apiece as the Blues here are 0-for-2 on the power play with 3 shots on net tonight. They're still behind the San Jose net. Berggren dropping one off in the far corner for Buchnevich, going from low to high at the far point. Put it back in the corner. Snap shot there by Suter. Came off the side of the net. Askarov wants to cover. He will. And the whistle will go with 14:39 to go here in the second period as now Berggren and Desharnais exchanging words with one another in behind the San Jose net. As we look at are we going to commercial here with 14:38 to go in the second period? Looks like the telecast is trying to send us to a commercial break. We've gone to commercial. It says it's 10 seconds. I'm not even going to bother. We should not be going to commercial right now. That is not the correct time that they should stop it and send us to break. So we'll see 2 seconds left here on this ad. Are they going to come back? And they are back. I don't know what that all was. Shout out FanDuel Sports Network. There's a reason you're all going out of business. So that's that. Face off here to the left now of Askarov. So it'll be Salabrini against Jack Finley. So top line against fourth line again. This is the matchup Jim Montgomery's liked for the Blues in this game. As off the draw, Celebrini wins it clean in his D zone. The ex-Blue Letty slug it out to center. Right back to Parayko at goals, his ex-defense partner from a season ago, is now in front of the penalty box as Toropchenko tried to drop it for Parayko, but he overskated it, has to get back to it. Sent it this way for Lindstein. Up the boards, now it's touched by Walker to center. Over the Shark line it goes, but collected right back out by Dickinson. And now the Sharks top line on the near side poked it over the Blues line. Came right back to Parayko, he can't clear. Behind the Blues net to our right, Lindstein now gets that loose puck. Looks for a lane, up the left wall he goes. Now it's thrown out the center by Walker. Front of the penalty box is grabbed by Finley, and his rink-wide pass was overskated by Walker. Near side Smith's back in. Now it's offsides though, says the linesman, as a whistle's going to go here at 13:57, and that will send us to a proper commercial break. That's the right time on the clock, and I'll be right back. 90 seconds. Welcome back into St. Louis, still scoreless here in this game, Blues and Sharks. Jaric Rubel with you here on my YouTube channel. Bit of a rarity here to see the Blues struggling at home with me on the air. This is twice this time this season they have not scored much at home. The last 5 games I had for them last season, last 2 regular season games I did for them, not necessarily back-to-back, I believe it was February and April. I can't remember if a March game was in there, but they scored 6 goals in every game but one, and the one game they didn't, it was 5. So, I mean, it had been touchdown city. I mean, they were honoring the Rams the whole month of March and month of April when I was calling their games here on the channel. But this year, it's been a bit of a different story. They're still 8 points back of the Predators, who got hot, as I thought the Preds would be at 73 points, just 4 points ahead of St. Louis at this moment, as I kind of did my own projections for the Western Conference, and the Preds stole a game in Winnipeg, and I thought they'd split versus the Kraken, but they took both games against Seattle, and that has them 4 points ahead of where I thought they'd be, and they have the advantage in the Western Conference wildcard standings as it stands. So an offsides whistle here, 10 seconds in as we resume play, 13:57 to go. Now another stoppage with 13:47 as an offsides occurred in front of the San Jose bench. So another faceoff will occur right in front of that same San Jose bench. So the Sharks this year try to make it back to the playoffs for the first time since 2019 when they faced the St. Louis Blues in the conference finals. As the 2 times these teams have met in the playoffs, at least in my lifetime, it has been Western Conference final matchups, 2016 and 2019, each team winning a series in 6 games. So the Sharks here on the far wing in the blue zone, playing it down low. Sherwood trying to get to it for our boy OG Swag in the chat. Needs a goal from him. Played it to the near corner. It's going to be cut off now in the corner by Otto Stenberg. First round draft pick by the St. Louis Blues. They have all 3 from 2023 playing, Dvorsky, Stenberg, and Lindstein. All 3 first round picks in 2023 in the lineup now for the St. Louis Blues. Behind their goal is Wenberg. He's out through the far wing, trying to twist in the blue zone. Skates coast to coast to the near circle. Up now, here's Eklund. Had a shot blocked in the slot by Fowler. That, I guess, had enough elevation on it to get out of play. It didn't look like a block that moved too much. And it goes out of play with 12:59 to go. Hofer and Fowler now talking things over as those 2 guys are, I think, talking about protecting the blue paint here in front of Hofer, as Fowler is saying he's been getting cross-checked and it's been rough for him on top of the paint as the Sharks are getting physical, and that's what they need to do down the stretch here. This stretch has to definitely do with the lack of physicality and lack of experience amongst the roster, and yeah, the defense core isn't the most sturdy, but it's good to see them getting feisty here in this game. Face off to the left of Hofer. Down to our right, it's won by the Blues Buchnevich clean. He's not naturally a center, but he is tonight. As he's out to center, got it to Broberg. Is this an offsides? It's not. It's cleanly into the San Jose zone, but they lose possession, the Blues do. And Dickinson from behind the Shark net launched it up the right wing. 3-on-2, the Sharks come into the zone to Foley right wing, put it off the pad of Hofer. It goes out of play, though, on the deflection. So 12:40 to go after that stoppage. So a face-off coming up here in the O-zone again for the San Jose Sharks, who are looking for the first goal of the game here tonight. Celebrini, he's just looking to get a point, but he's 4 away from becoming the third player in Sharks history with 100 or more points in a single season. He recorded 4 points or more 4 times this season, and he's 1 away from matching Erik Karlsson's record of 5 that he set 3 seasons ago in his Norris campaign. So face off here to the left of Hofer. The Sharks have had a lot of zone time here in this second period. As I mentioned, the Blues struggle in period 2, a -20 goal differential. Not great, Captain. As Dvorsky now takes on Gaudet at the dot, wins it clean. Lindstein touched it to the back. It's played off the boards to center. On the near side, Holloway will send it in. Around the Shark goal it'll go. It's touched, though, by Askarov, so it stayed in the trapezoid. Grabbed now by Dvorsky. Thrown in front. Holloway couldn't grab it. Dickinson grabbed it for the Sharks. Off the near side it goes, and came back to him off of Dvorsky. And now he'll snap it in far side into the Blue zone. Hofer out to get it in the trapezoid. Put it off the near glass. Snuggerud went cross ice. Fowler grabs it. Up ahead for Holloway. Tried to avoid a check. Couldn't, but now got it into the Shark zone. But right back the other way it's sent. So down the ice it'll be grabbed again by Fowler. As Fowler now resets up the far boards, it's grabbed again by the Blues. Snuggerud, far wall, Dvorsky over the Shark line. Couldn't get it past Orlov, though, as it's thrown right back into St. Louis ice. Broberg gets the free puck yet again. And here comes another chance for St. Louis. Broberg, though, poke checked by Celebrini in behind nicely. Now Kyrou has the puck in his gut, or Walker, I should say. So there's a lot of 20s on this Blues team. 21, 22, 28, 29, 26, 23. Holy crap. Has now back out the center. Misa has a delayed offsides, get the linesman's arm up in the air, so they touch up. Broberg now will skate to center over the blue note, now the blue line into the Shark zone. Far wing, Walker threw it in behind, it deflects to the near side. Foley now will throw it back out to neutral ice. In front of the penalty boxes, Parayko couldn't grab it, neither could Graf, but Walker's there for the Blues. Goes across to Broberg in front of the Shark bench. Over the logo, flowed to Toropchenko. Over the Shark line to the far quarter, he goes down to our left. Tried to one-arm it to Walker behind the net. The Sharks threw it up the wall, but kept by Parayko far side. Gallops now in behind the Shark goal line to the near side. From the circle, a shot on net. Blocker save made Askarov. He's toppled over by Walker. Puck now in the near corner. Askarov looks hurt. He's holding his head now in the blue paint, as now Orlov's just hugging Walker here. They look like they're going to tango, and not the aggressive kind, as now Askarov's down in the blue paint. And I'm going to watch the replay first, but I kind of think Walker did that accidentally on purpose, and if so, I wouldn't doubt a major being issued out to St. Louis here, but I'm also kind of getting ahead of myself. So we'll see a replay. Askarov's now up to his knees. The medical staff has not come out to talk to him. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And now it looks like, Walker's being guided to the penalty box. This is the right call. As now Garrett Rank and Brandon Blandina talk behind the San Jose net. Askarov still on both knees, as now here's a replay. Walker gets set up on top of the paint, and Desharnais comes in. Okay, no, it was all Desharnais, so I actually take back everything I said. There will be no penalty. If Walker gets sent to the box, that's ridiculous, because Desharnais, here, let me pull out the whole tail of the tape here. Desharnais, that dude's big. Desharnais stands in at 6'7", 225. Meanwhile, okay, so Walker is in the box. Askarov's still being tended to, and Walker stands in. He's not big, by the way. He's 5'9", 191, so Desharnais towers over this guy. He weighs 100 pounds more than him almost, and Walker's back was turned to Desharnais. So Walker's face was at the blue paint looking at the net, and then he got shoved in behind by Desharnais, and that is how Askarov got toppled on top of, as he's still down on his knees in the blue paint. It's looking like he's trying to plead his case to continue here, but it looks like Alex Nedeljkovic now is going to get the gear on, As my boy, the Serb here, is going to look like he's going to take over the blue paint for San Jose. Askarov's putting the gear back on. It looks like he wants to stay. As we'll see what they end up ruling. He's still down on his left knee. He's crouched on his right. As now the officials here, Brandon Blandina's got the headset on. Again, I'm not an official, man, so just take what I say with a grain of salt, but I don't think there should be a penalty here to Nathan Walker, and I think the review's good, and I actually think they should say, I think they should say that Desharnais pushed him into the net. I think that's the right call. And now Askarov is leaving the ice. He's going to leave this game, and Nedeljkovic is going to come in. So Alex Nedeljkovic this season for the Sharks, 13-13-3. He's a 3.30 goals against average, as now he gets into the blue paint here for the Sharks in this game. As in that game against Nashville on Tuesday, so I'll get to the box score real quick, as I don't have the whole thing in front of me. I'm not a wizard or anything here. In goal, Nedeljkovic, yeah, he ate everything in net that game. So he gave up all 5 goals in that first period, 6 total. He allowed 6 goals on 19 shots. So it looks like Orlov's, I think they gave Orlov, he's going palms up, and I think he has a right to go palms up. I think they're giving Orlov a penalty here on an instigator, even though he just hugged Walker. But I think they just didn't have the, I don't know. Did they not have a case for Desharnais? Like, I think that was only right to even it out. So, like, I get what the referees were trying to do. Orlov's confused why he got a penalty, but I think it was just because they had no length on what to give Desharnais. I don't exactly know, but we are 4-on-4, the score bug says, for 2 minutes. There's 10:54 to go in this second period, and Nedeljkovic was getting warm-up shots while I've been yapping here in the last couple of minutes, and it looks like he's ready now, as he's in the blue paint wearing number 33, as he's scraping out the snow that's in that blue paint with his gold cue, and we'll see where this face-off's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be in the O-zone for the Blues or if they're going to move it back out to center, but we still hear just a long pause before the play resumes, and it looks like it's going to stay in the D zone. I see helmets kind of skating on the bottom third of my screen as we're still zoomed in on Nedeljkovic here, so it's going to be a face-off to his right here with 10:54 to go in the second period. 4-on-4 action, and this year 4-on-4, the Sharks 1 goal for, 2 against, the Blues 2 goals for, and none against. Buchnevich, Kyrou, Broberg, and Mailloux out there for the Blues. They lose a draw, but Chernishev gets bumped off the puck by Mailloux, so he takes it back for the Blues. Chernishev and Celebrini, the forwards, out there for the Sharks on this 4-on-4 time. Meanwhile, it should be Ferraro and Dickinson, the defensemen. I don't have them in my frame at the moment, but I would imagine that's who it is. And it's actually Mukhamadullin and Ferraro, so the normal defensive pairing out there for Ryan Warsofsky's crew. So 30 seconds have gone by. Literally nothing happened so far on this 4-on-4, but from between the benches, Kyrou played it to Mailloux straight ahead over the Shark line. On the near left wing, Broberg put it on top of the paint. Kyrou touch pass. Mailloux is shot, got too much of it, and shot it over the crossbar and into the crowd as he was falling on both knees when he took that shot. And now another stoppage here with 10:15 to go in the second period. And just over 1:20 to go on 4-on-4 time. Mailloux's shot not even close to the net. Getting a camera angle here. So as Bob Uecker would say, rest in peace, Bob, but just a bit outside. So face off here to the left of the goaltender Nedeljkovic, who's now in for Askarov. As Finley's out here for the Blues with Holloway, Fowler, and Kessel. As now Eklund and Wenberg are the forwards for the Sharks. They lose the draw. Fowler controls. Dickinson and Leddy, the defenseman here. Here's Holloway. Near side, puts on the brakes, pulled back out now to center. And at the Blue Note logo, Snuggerud has it. On the near side, Fowler in his own zone for Snuggerud left wing. Just stagnant here, just twisting around, making Eklund miss, and now has space to center. Over the red line, now the Shark Blue, left wing, fumbled it. Leddy can't get it away, though, but Eklund will. Played it behind his own net to our left for Dickinson. Now 50 seconds remain on 4-on-4. So Eklund up the far left wing will drop it off at his own blue line for Sam Dickinson. Far wall Wenberg gliding into the Blues zone. Far left wing at the dot. Pulled up on the half boards. Played it up high to Eklund. Eklund here working to the near side. Got poke checked and thrown out of the zone by Holloway as he's now resetting. left it for Dickinson at the Enterprise Center logo. That's next to the blue note. It describes the arena we're playing in if you didn't know. So I'm just really feeling sarcastic today. I hope you guys are enjoying listening to this. It's on the near wing. Wenberg now from the right wing circle. Left it for Eklund. Eklund now riding over to the far circle against Kessel. Stays with it. Shot it. Save Hofer covering the short side on the far post. Now Snuggerud will take it. Peeling back in his own zone. He'll leave it in behind. 4-on-4 time expiring as the final 3 seconds now tick away. And we're back to 5 skaters aside. So Matthew Kessel behind his own net wearing 51 for the Blues. No, he's not related to Phil. Played it on the near wing for Suter. Or I should say Stenberg. This 20s line is messing with me. Stenberg, Berggren, and Suter. But Suter played it into the far wall. Now Ferraro grabs it. Threw it back up for the Sharks. It's not out yet. Chernyshov ran into it. Does nudge it out. And the Blues have to reset. So Stenberg twists it back in. Behind the Shark net, Nedeljkovic left it for Leddy. He threw it up the far wing. A foot race now for Celebrini and Berggren to go after it. And now a delayed offsides. If the Sharks touch it, they're gonna. And the whistle will go. I wonder if they're going to call a delayed offsides as now Celebrini smashes his stick in frustration. As with 8:20 to go, we'll head to break. We're still scoreless here in St. Louis. 0-0 between the Blues and the Sharks. Back here in St. Louis, where the score is still 0-0 between the Sharks and the Blues. Jaric Rubel here with you live on my YouTube channel. The last time, hopefully, I use this channel this season, as the Ultimate Sports Media channel should be back by the time I'm live on Tuesday for the Flyers and the Capitals. Again, that gets underway at 7 Eastern. On March 31st, April 1st, the Blues are in action in LA at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific against the Kings. And then I'm with you again on Thursday for the Canucks and the Wild in St. Paul at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So face-off in front of the Sharks bench here, won by the Blues, but too cleanly as Buchnevich got it behind his own net. So Parayko with 8:15 to go in the second, put it up the right wing. This will end up being an icing. So face-off here coming back into St. Louis territory with 8:10 to go in this second period. Only 3 shots for the Sharks in this period, though they've had a lot of zone time, and the Blues with 5 in this period. Been a bit of a low-octane game as the Blues struggling to score since the Carolina game a couple of weeks ago, as they won that game, but since then they've been struggling to put the puck in the back of the net, as now they lose an O-zone draw here to the Sharks, as now a puck put on net by Muger Ferraro, I should say, stopped by Hofer, as now we look at Celebrini on the bench here, as he's kind of dumbfounded here throughout these last handful of games, as he's been frustrated, as we saw before the commercial break, as he was slamming his stick up against the bench. He's looking for answers here, trying to get the Sharks into the playoffs in a year most people never even would have thought they could come close. And there's people like me, by the way, who thought the Blues would win the Central Division. Not even close. They still could potentially find a way into the dance. Nashville's tied a game against New Jersey at 2, so that's not good if you're rooting for either of these teams to get into the playoffs, as they scored twice in 2 minutes to tie up the game with New Jersey down in Smashville. Puck in front of the penalty box here in St. Louis. And now the Sharks come up with it. Miso will play it back in his own zone for Mook Madulin. Played it up the far left wing for Graf over the St. Louis line. Poke check by Parayko. Got it still behind the goal. Pool cued it to the near side for Toffoli. And the trapezoid now. Banked it off the far boards to the point. Mook Madulin shot blocked out the center off a blue skate. That was Walker. And now a foot race on Bagrin's going in. One-handed it to the net. Saved Nedeljkovic as he'll cover. As that was a good effort by Jonathan Berggren. But good stop there by Nedeljkovic, who hasn't been tested too often here after coming in relief for the injured Yaroslav Askarov. So face-off coming up here to his right. Good job by Ferraro to tie up Berggren, as that just forced him to the backhand, and the only way Berggren would have scored is if that 5-hole opened up, but nothing there. Is able to close the wickets was Nedeljkovic with ease. So 7:27 to go in the period. Face-off to Nedeljkovic's right. Wenberg against Dvorsky. Off the tie-up, it's played to the back. The Blues control. Broberg will snap it in behind. Now Nedeljkovic out to play it. Sticked it up the far boards. It came to Snuggerud. Shot on net. Save. Rebound through the slot. Grabbed by the Sharks. Here comes Wenberg the other way. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Up the near right side. Wenberg's in. Played it on net. Tried to. Oh, it went off of Broberg, and he baseball swung at it backhand. But it went to the near corner. Now here's Eklund. Eklund in behind. In that trapezoid to our right. Set up Wenberg. A shot blocker saved by Hofer. A good one as it was coming to the far post. Now in behind here is Broberg again. Up the near side. Can't clear. Desharnais a keep. Got it in the corner for Eklund. Eklund trying to center. Sherwood got it on net. Save. Hofer with the right pad. He'll cover. As that was a good shot attempt by Sherwood. Set up by Eklund. But the Blues netminder on top of the blue paint. Able to stay with it. And keep it scoreless. So Wenberg here, he's an underrated player on this San Jose team, a crafty veteran that was with Columbus for many of years, as he's had some nice assists in his couple of years here in San Jose, and he almost had a shot here to go far post and beat Hofer to the blocker's side, but Hofer just got a piece, and then Sherwood here throwing it, trying to go 5-hole on top of the paint. Hofer stopped that as well. Face off to his right. Finley wins it clean against Celebrini. That's rare. Feels like Celebrini's had his number. Now puck poked out into San Jose ice by Walker, who's back on the ice after getting toppled over on top of Askarov and sent to the penalty box as he couldn't come up with it. Sent out to center by Dickinson, but it deflects into the benches. So we'll have another face-off coming up here, I believe, in San Jose ice. And looks like whoever's doing between the benches for the Blues TV or Sharks TV, couldn't actually tell who that was, ended up catching that puck that went between the benches, got a nice applause from the crowd. So that's interesting stuff going on here. The St. Louis crowd's lively. We saw a fan get a puck. They're doing the power play dance. I mean, they're just laughing, giving cheers. I mean, it's a good environment. I went down there last year for a game, and as a Blackhawks fan, it was the Red Wings fan base that was much more evil. The Blues fans were actually pretty fun to hang out with. So on the near side, in the Sharks D zone, Fowler trying to keep it, but can't as Gaudette sends it to center for San Jose. Is this going to go for icing? No, it's going to go on goal. So Hofer sticked it to the far wall. It's sent out to center by Parayko, but now it's twisted right back in Celebrini. On the far side, grabbed back by Fowler. He skates behind the Blues net, put it up the near wall. It goes through center ice again, and Toropchenko played it far wing over the line. Here comes Finley, far circle, tried a shot, glove down by Nedeljkovic, rebound in behind, puck to the near wall. Here's Gaudette with it, trying to move it along, just slowly skates at the center. Now on the far wing, hit Leddy, who wasn't ready for that pass. He was ready to change, but he was able to snap it into St. Louis ice. Celebrini at the end of a shift was gassed and got hit hard and lost the puck, as now the Blues twisted it back to center, but it's going to be played right back in by the Sharks on a poke check. Celebrini in front of the bench, played it for Graf in the slot, couldn't come up with it. Now Neighbors ahead, pass for Kyrou, got taken down at the Shark blue line. Now a pass fan down by Desharnais. The Blues are back in onside, near circle. Here's Buchnevich, touched it in front, off a skate, it went a Desharnais, and now here's a bouncing puck that comes to Toffoli, and he ends up icing this puck. So with 5:12 to go in the second period, another whistle and an ozone draw upcoming for the Blues. So Jake Neighbors try to make that play happen here for St. Louis, as he so far has had kind of a quiet season. He's had some injury issues, missed a handful, about a dozen games, as he's only got 26 points on the year, 14 goals, 12 assists. He recorded that 12th assist in Anaheim on March 8th. That's when I started to believe in this Blues team that they could maybe go on a run and sneak in. But if the Preds don't slow down, that might be tough. And his 13 even strength goals are third on the Blues this season, behind Kyrou and Holloway's 14. So face off here in the ozone for the Blues. It's one on a play by Kyrou to get it off the skates of both centermen, but it's out of the zone now as it came past the near point of Lindstein. And Parayko now has to reset behind his own net. He's getting his pocket picked by Graf, but now able to use his big frame to knock him out of the way. And Lindstein from behind the goal played it to Bushnevich far wall in his own zone to our right. Pavel Bushnevich skated it now and snapped it in front of the penalty boxes. Grabbed now by Parayko, the defenseman leading the charge left wing side. Put it behind the Shark net. Orlov there to play it away to Desharnais. And up the right wing side to centers Michael Misa. Squeezed off in front of the penalty boxes, but Toffoli's there to snap the puck back into St. Louis ice. So there's 4.5 remaining in this second period. Still scoreless here in Enterprise Center. Jaric Rubel with you here on my YouTube channel. Glad you've joined me as the Sharks try and twist back into St. Louis ice, but a pass by Sherwood deflects out of play as we'll head to break with just over 4 minutes remaining in the second period. Still looking for that all-important icebreaker. 0-0 we stand. Back here in St. Louis, 4:20 remaining in the second period. We're still looking for that first goal here tonight. As if these teams stay tied through 20 minutes or through 40 minutes here tonight, it's 4-8-2 for the Sharks, 6-3-8 for the St. Louis Blues. And that 8, even all these overtime losses for St. Louis, they got 11 of them. And overall, they're 3-11 past 60 minutes. And those extra points are really what's separating them from the top of this wild card bunch. And the same could be said for the Chicago Blackhawks, as that team, the rival of the Blues, has done the same thing. They just can't get the extra points, and they've lost some third periods they shouldn't have. And that is why they are not fully in that wild card race, Chicago. But the Blues here, I mean, the Hawks are right behind them, but you guys get the point I'm making here. That just these extra points here are so crucial, and it's paying dividends here in the late stages of this regular season. Sharks controlling the blue zone is at the far circle. Here's Dickinson looking for a shot. It went off the backside of Jack Finley, who was tied up on top of the blue paint with Wenberg. Meanwhile, behind the Blues net, it rolls around to the far wall, and now Dickinson's hit there by Toropchenko. Puck now to the far corner as it bounces around. Behind the net, it bounces to the near side. Here's Nathan Walker, hit by Sherwood. Sherwood with a bunch of hits this regular season. He had 261 coming into tonight. Is behind the Blues net again. Another hit. Kessel this time on Eklund. He looked to see if it was a penalty. That's a rookie mistake. I don't think he's getting one, though. As on the near side, it's Wenberg. Up to the point, Leddy. Slid it to the far wall. Dickinson back to Leddy straight away. Leddy looking. Far circle. Here's Dickinson. Back up top to Leddy. 3.5 to go in the second. Shot by Leddy. Deflects out of play. And with 3:25 to go in the second, another stoppage will put a face-off here in the Blues defensive zone. So line change here for each team as the fourth line heads off the ice for St. Louis. I would imagine the top line will head back on Dvorsky, Snuggerud, and Holloway. I'd imagine we'll see the Misa, Sherwood, and Toffoli trio for Graf, Toffoli, and Misa trio for Ryan Warsawski, as they've been very good tonight. That it's going to be the top line, actually, of Celebrini, Smith, and Chernyshov. Think the other line's been better, but that's all right. They win the draw. Played to the net. Comes to the near side. Celebrini being defended by Mayu. Got it to the point. Ferraro played it down behind the goal line. It's taken by Broberg. Played up ahead and taken by Snuggerud. Snuggerud out to center. Played it far wing into the zone's Mayu. Mayu got poke checked. Puck came to Dvorsky, who pool cued it back down low. Around the Shark goal it goes to the near side. Holloway there to it first. Now tied up against the boards, but Chernyshov got it up and out for the Sharks. And now the Blues have to get back in their own zone as Mayu turns around. So under 3 minutes to go in this second period. Blues back through center, left wing, past the penalty boxes is Holloway. He snapped it around the Shark goal to the far corner to our left. Snuggerud played it back to him. Holloway on top of the paint. Here's a chance. Dvorsky scores! Dalibor Dvorsky filling into the top line role in replace of Robert Thomas gets the opening goal, and it only took 37 minutes. But we have a goal in this one. Dalibor Dvorsky, the Slovakian centerman, represented Slovakia in the Olympics this year. He gets his 11th goal of the season as a puck found Holloway in behind on a nice setup by Snuggerud as they were ping-ponging it behind the Shark net. And then Holloway tried a stuff attempt that bounced out in the slot right to Dvorsky, and it went off the knee of the Sharks' Chernyshov and past Nedeljkovic. So the Blues with the all-important first goal in the late stages of period number 2. As off the ensuing face-off, the puck goes out of play with 2:35 here in this second period. Holloway and Snuggerud, the assists on the Dvorsky goal, as Snuggerud now has 12 points, or I should say 14 points in 12 games played in the month of March. One more will tie him with Rod Brindamore for the most by a Blue in a single calendar month. Buchnevich off the draw at center against Misa. Wins it clean as the Blues play it in front of the penalty box now. Here's Neighbors. Sends it into San Jose ice. Doesn't get very far, though, before Desharnais put it back the other way. And now into the blue zone it rolls. And now Kyrou ends up collecting over the red line and the blue into the Shark zone. Far wall, here's Buchnevich centering for Neighbors. He couldn't get the tip. Up to the left point, it's Lindstein. To the near circle, Kyrou as Lindstein got clocked by Toffoli. Kyrou down low, Parayko to the net on a wraparound save made by Nedeljkovic. Rebound cleaned up by Desharnais. He now lofts it down and outer into the blue zone. It won't be icing. Graf will get there first in the far right-hand corner. It's picked up by Graf. Out of that far corner, dropping it on for Orlov. Into the paint it goes for Misa, and he couldn't get a stick on it. And now the Sharks back on it on the near side. Here is Misa. Out of the corner, behind to the far wall for Graf. 100 seconds to go in the period as Letty fresh on to the far wall, played it for Graf. In the slot, Misa fanned on a shot, played up ahead now by the Blues Lindstein, and now Kyrou at center will play it on to the Shark zone. So Dickinson turns back in San Jose ice, flicked it right back in front of the penalty boxes. Sherwood there to collect, left it as well right there for Eklund. He doesn't have a lane, so he turns into his own zone, and now gets speed through center. Over the logo he goes, right side over the Blues line is Wenberg. Wenberg twisting in the near corner, pressed up against the boards in the final 70 seconds of the second period. Fowler trying to kick it free, can't. Wenberg got it to the back. Here's Letty, long wrist shot, gloved, I think off the glove of Hofer. It might have hit Sherwood on the shoulder and deflected wide, but nonetheless, the Blues are going to get out to center. Here's Suter getting twisted around. Drop pass comes to Fowler at the logo. Far wing, here's Berggren chipping it into San Jose ice. To the far corner, it rolls under a minute to go in the second period as Dickinson's on it for the Sharks again. Got it as far as the red line. Played back on the near side. Berggren re-enters to the Shark zone. Left wing, down low in the corner. Tried to center, went off a Letty skate back to him. Berggren squeezes past him. Out of the far corner, Jonathan Berggren, a long shot from the far circle off a skate, goes into the Blues crowd again. And it looks like a fan in a Gretzky jersey or a fan in a green hoodie. The Gretzky jersey didn't get it. And it ends up being a souvenir for a nice lady in a green sweater. So these pucks are flying everywhere in St. Louis tonight. It's the second time I've actually been able to see a fan receive the souvenir and be excited about it. Not too many times I get to describe crowds here on these NHL broadcasts. I feel like that's more of a baseball thing with the downtime. But I guess perfect for opening day, right? Right on cue. So 33 seconds left here in this period. Puck went right on net off the draw. Nedeljkovic had to cover. They were still showing a replay on the telecast, so I don't know if that was a shot or if the Sharks won it too cleanly. But Nedeljkovic had to be alert, and he ends up covering that. We have another faceoff coming up to his left with 28.6 to go in the second. It's going to be ruled to be dropped unfairly, and Dvorsky's going to get tossed out. So Holloway's going to have to step in now. He's 49% at the dot this year. He's tied up with Celebrini, loses this one, and the Sharks get it in the final quarter of the period. Up the near wing, it's sent by Desharnais into Blues ice. Into the corner it goes. Oh, icing is whistled, as I wasn't sure if that was going to be called. They do call it, though. And a bad play by the Sharks defenseman now puts them back in their defensive zone yet again. So 20 seconds remain now in this second period, and if the Blues are leading, they're 21-2 when leading through 2 periods this year. The Sharks 5-23 themselves. So face off to Nedeljkovic's right, Celebrini against Dvorsky, and off the tie-up, it goes to the corner to our left. Desharnais grabs it. Final Baker's dozen now of the second period. Out the center comes the Sharks' Goodrow. He wires one in from the red line between the benches. Hofer grabs it in the trapezoid. Got it to Parayko, who hoists one near the scoreboard at center. It bounces down at the Shark blue line. That kills the clock. Into the second intermission we go. So 1-0 St. Louis on the goal by Dvorsky. His 11th of the year, set up by Holloway and Snuggerud. Snuggerud with his 14th point of the month of March as he's rolling as of late for the Blues, as he leads all rookies in the NHL with 14 assists and 23 points in this span since January 24th. The Blues carry that 1-0 lead to the dressing room. As I mentioned, they're 21-2 when leading through 2 periods this year. The Sharks are 5-23 themselves when trailing through 40 minutes of play. Shots are on goal are 17-15 in favor of the Blues. Shots were 11-6 St. Louis in that period. Had a big fight as Ostapchuk beat the brakes out of Logan Mailloux, and I mean, truly just smashed him, as that was a highlight of the period. But the Blues goal also a highlight of the period, and that's the one that truly matters in this game, as St. Louis carries the lead into the dressing room to the final 20 minutes. You're listening to this NHL Watchalong with Jaric Rubel. That's me right here on YouTube, and it's also on my YouTube channel. If you've liked what you've heard, subscribe during this intermission. Make sure to hit the like button. And also remember, I'll be live on the Ultimate Sports Media channel on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week as our suspension gets lifted there. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Period 3 around the corner. Blues lead 1-0 on home ice over the Sharks. Welcome back in, everybody. Third period set to begin from St. Louis, where the Blues lead the San Jose Sharks 1-0 through 40 minutes of play. Dalibor Dvorsky, the lone goal scorer for the Blues, his 11th of the season, comes from Dylan Holloway and Jimmy Snuggerud. As Snuggerud now is 1 point shy of matching the single-month point record in St. Louis Blues history set by Rod Brind'Amour, who had 15 points in 13 games back in November of 1989. Snuggerud's got a couple more opportunities to try and get that if he doesn't get it tonight. The Blues got 3 more games left here in the month of March. Or I should say 2 after tonight. It's just Saturday and Monday. And the Monday game's in San Jose against these Sharks again. So another big 2 points will be up for grabs in that game. But the Blues host the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday. So Stanley Cup winning head coach from here in St. Louis, Jaric Rubel, will come on into town. And then the Sharks, they head to Columbus on Saturday to take on the red-hot Blue Jackets. And this road trip's just not a nice one to them, as they got to find a way to get a point in this one, as I could only imagine it'll be tough in Columbus with the way that they're playing. So Blues and Sharks, third period. Blues attack left to right. The Sharks attack right to left. And Finley beats Celebrini on the draw. Mayu snaps it in. We're underway in period 3. Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me here live on my YouTube channel. As on the near side in the Shark zone, the Blues Walker chips it down low. It'll be poked around by Orlov by the Sharks, but Toropchenko's there to get it back to Walker in the corner. Finley will cut it off in the trapezoid, absorbed a hit from Orlov, got it to Walker, tried to stay with it against Celebrini, does. On the far wall, poked it to the point. Broberg to Finley, tried to backhand it down low, second try, does. Now Toropchenko will try and leave it in behind, but he gave it right to Celebrini as the Blues were changing. And now the Sharks in transition send it the other way. Will Smith into the Blue zone, played it behind the goal, grabbed by Mayu, as he'll drop it off in behind in the trapezoid behind the net. To our left sits Broberg into the blade of Mayu. He now skates through center. It was a 1-for-1 trade with Montreal in the summer that sent him here in Bolduc. Zach Bolduc to Montreal. As now on the far side in the Shark zone, they're out again. Celebrini touched it to center. Mukhamadullin over the logo. Near left wing side now into the Blue zone he goes. Threw it through the blue paint. Came on the far side for Sherwood at the right wing circle. Now at the dot. Played it up between the circles for Ferraro. To the near side. On the dot, it's Wenberg. Wenberg across. Ferraro one-timer off the glass. Came to the near wall. Here's Sherwood again. Sherwood looking. Played it across. Trying to get a shot off his Mukhamadullin. He does block it away to the far corner by Hofer. Now in that far corner, Parayko's tied up with a San Jose Shark. I believe it's Wenberg. Is now Wenberg actually came up with that puck. On the far side, it was Eklund. And now a shot from the point by Ferraro, seen all the way by Hofer. He got it with ease. And a minute 36 gone by here in the third period. And a whistle. And a face-off upcoming here to the right of the St. Louis netminder. So the San Jose Sharks, I mentioned Kiefer Sherwood on that shift. They acquired him from Vancouver on January 19th in exchange for a pair of second-round picks in this year and next year's draft, and defenseman Cole Clayton. He scored his first points as a Shark on March 3rd with a goal and the game winner, including an assist in that game. He inked a 5-year contract extension as well just a day after on March 4th here in San Jose. Face off to Hofer's right. It's going to be won by Finley against Michael Misa. Around the Blues goal, it goes on the far wall. Kyrou trying to get positioning on Toffoli, does. Moves it to center. Over the Shark line. It's kind of sitting on the blue line on the near side. Squirted back to Buchnevich by the penalty boxes. He'll drop it back to Kessel. And now up on the far wall, it's played by Fowler for Neighbors. He got tied up. Buchnevich played it to Kyrou off his blade, but it got directed back into Blues ice off a Shark stick. So now Hofer turned it over to Misa, centering shot there by Toffoli, got cut off before it could get to him. And now here's Misa again to the point. Letty from way out, tried a shot that missed the net, came out in front. Here's a backhand. Dickinson goes over the crossbar. That was a close call, as now Fowler pool cues it back to center. It might roll far enough for icing. It's gonna, and the Blues, after a long shift, are not going to be able to change, as most of these guys have been out here for about a minute, and they're going to have to stay back in their defensive zone after that one. So again, the channel's coming back, the Ultimate Sports Media channel, later this week, as we should have the Sweet 16 rolling on here in the NCAA tournament. Duke, St. John's, Alabama, Michigan, and Michigan State and UConn all tomorrow. Matthew Owen should have those games for you all on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Again, I will return there on Tuesday when the Flyers head to D.C. to take on the Capitals. 17:38 to go in the third. It's like every game I'm seeing this number now. I'm not going to make the joke anymore. As a face-off to the right of Hofer will be between Buchnevich and Celebrini. Off the draw, it's played to the wall. Grabbed back by the Sharks, Chernishev. Dropped down low, Celebrini in the near corner to our left. Walks up the wall, protecting. Played it in the slot. Came off of Desharnais' blade to the left wing circle. It's Chernishev. Dropped it along the wall for Orlov. Played it down low to Smith. Great spots now at Celebrini. Smith with it up high, left wing circle. Poke checked by Buchnevich. Forced back. Now thrown to the point, Desharnais. Long shot out and a save made with the glove by Hofer. And with 17:14 to go, he takes a whistle. Face-off upcoming to Hofer's left. And Joel Hofer played with the Swift Current Broncos in the WHL for a couple of years and the Portland Winterhawks after that. Then he ended up getting drafted to the St. Louis Blues, and he also played time in the World Juniors in 2020 before COVID hit. He won gold with Team Canada that year and was named best goaltender in the tournament, going 5-0 with a 1.30 goals against and a 946 save percentage. And now he's starting to show a lot of that here in St. Louis. And he's got a test here as the Sharks win another O-zone draw. Thrown his way, deflected, and he got down in the butterfly position to make the save on the Celebrini tip. Now the puck rolls on the far wall out to center. The Sharks must reset as Dickinson goes across now to Orlov in his own zone. Back it comes this way for Dickinson, who kicks to the stick to collect. Back behind his own goal, it's banked to Orlov, far wall, threw it across the right wing, and now it's tipped in by Chernishev again. Top line still out there for the Sharks as they're trying to generate something. Mayu put it up the boards, not out there for the Blues as the Sharks keep it in. Celebrini to the near wall. Dickinson tried to center it back for Celebrini, but the pass missed him and came out of the zone. And now the Sharks rekindle again. Through center, it's Macklin trying to kick over the Blues line. It's a delayed offsides, and they do blow it dead with 16:33 to go here in the third. So again, the faceoff coming back up here in neutral ice as the Blues and Sharks change their lines up. The top line now for San Jose heading off the ice as Philip Broberg there made a nice poke check on Celebrini to force him off sides. He has 6 points in his last 10 games and 9 in his last 15. Also recorded a career-high 32 minutes and 51 seconds time on ice against these Sharks. That game came back on March 6th. So face-off one in front of the Blues bench by Dvorsky. And now Snuggerud snaps it in from between the benches to the near corner. It goes down to our right in the Shark zone. Poked around to the far side by Mukmadulin to Ferraro, who's now tied up with Holloway. Puck now being lodged free from that far corner. It's underneath the stick of Gaudette momentarily. Now poked around the Shark goal to the near wing. Kept in by Parayko. Goes off a skate though, and it deflects by Goodrow out to center. So now Parayko has to chase back, and Goodrow's on his tail, trying to force a turnover. Parayko protecting and gets it out to center. This might go for an icing. It won't. The linesman waves it off. And Ferraro now down to our right behind his net, put it up the near wing, but right to Snuggerud. Snuggerud for Holloway. Made a nice move to keep it into Parayko. Parayko, a flip shot to the net. Down in the slot it goes. Snuggerud has a chance. He looks. He shoots. It's blocked. Came back to him. Now it's to the far corner. Snuggerud with it. Played it in the slot. Holloway lost it, thrown out to center by the Sharks, and now Kessel resets. Blues changing on the fly as Finley in the fourth line hop over the boards. They don't get very far over the Shark blue before Mukmadulin played it to the logo, collected by Wenberg. He's in far wing, has a step-on follow to the goal, and a poke check by Hofer. A follow-up, Sherwood hit the post. Oh, a great poke check by Hofer, and then Sherwood blew it right by his glove side off the iron. Blues on the counterattack. Kessel into the Shark zone far wall. It's Toropchenko down to the corner. Puck poked free. It came to Finley, and now to the back, Kessel. His shot, save made by Nedeljkovic. Down in the slot it goes. Finley fanned on a shot. The Sharks the other way. Here's Sherwood to the near side. Eklund over the red and the blue. Played it far side. Here's Wenberg again. A shot. He scores! It was only a matter of time, and the Sharks come through with the equalizer. And a nice rush by Sherwood sets up Wenberg on the far wing for the equalizer. So Wenberg's 14th of the year ties this game at 1, 5:04 into period 3. He had a chance just a moment ago. That saw Hofer come up with a key poke check, and then Sherwood hit it off the post. And then back the other way came the Sharks. Sherwood on the near wing for Eklund. And then Eklund was the one who fed it across to Wenberg, I beg your pardon. And he made no mistake with that snapshot from the far right wing circle as he was able to kick to the stick and snap it right past the blocker side of Hofer inside the far post. So the Sharks with the equalizer. We're all tied at 1 here at 18 shots apiece, 5 minutes into the third period. So face off at center now. It'll be Celebrini against Jake Neighbors for this draw. Neighbors wins it, and it'll be played ahead now by Lindstein. Delayed offsides if the Blues touch it, though. So Orlov grabs it back for the Sharks. He plays it over the logo. It's turned right back on the Blues blade. On the near side, Kyrou feeds Bushnevich. He tumbled over the blue line. Now played it off the face of Misa, as now it came to the near side. Pareko's with it as we play on to the net. It's stopped by Nedeljkovic as it went off a Desharnais to him. And now the Sharks' big defenseman's able to clear. Out to center, Misa will punch it on in. Behind the goal, Hofer will twist it on the near side to Pareko. Up the boards, he played it past the penalty boxes. The Sharks get it back as Desharnais looks in his own end. Played it straight ahead, back into the Blues zone, but Pareko grabs it as he'll go D to D now to Lindstein. Back to Pareko it goes. On the near side, here comes Berggren. Over the Shark line. Put on the brakes. He got poke checked, but right at to Stenberg. Near wing, it's Berggren again. Played it in the slot. Dancing in his Broberg. Twisting near circle. Fed it across. Bounced off the boards to Mayu at the far left wing dot. Logan Mayu twisting here on Chernishev. Cuts down low behind the Shark goal. Now to his forehand. In front, Stenberg couldn't get the loose puck. It was reminiscent of how he almost scored against the Capitals, or did score against the Capitals on Tuesday. And now the Sharks come up with it. They'll ice it as it rolls all the way down in a whistle with 13:48 to go in the third period. So the Sharks tied it here courtesy Alex Wenberg, and then the Blues a moment ago had an opportunity for Otto Stenberg. He scored on the near side in that same goal on Tuesday in the third period against the Capitals on a pass through the blue paint. Almost had an opportunity there, but unable to convert. Now off a draw, Holloway in the slot, a shot and a save, right pad by Nedeljkovic. Rebound to the far boards, here's Holloway. Blues top line controls, played down low. Therefore it is the Sharks. Orlov played it up the near wing. Mayu a good route, cut off Chernishev, played it in the slot. Holloway can't get there, now it rolls all the way out, and Broberg has to get back. Broberg rekindles here in his own zone with speed up the near right side. Blues want to win this in regulation. They know they can't afford to give San Jose any other points, but 4 of the last 5 meetings between these teams have been decided in overtime. Down to our right in the Shark zone, Broberg poked a puck over to the far wall. Ostapchuk trying to clear for the Sharks, goes back in his own zone. Now it goes this way from Leddy to Dickinson. Up straight ahead, here's Gaudette over the Blues line, pulls up left wing boards to the point. It's thrown to Dickinson, and his one-timer's gloved cleanly by Hofer, and he covers, and we'll head to break with 13 minutes left in period 3. The Sharks with the equalizer by Wenberg have us knotted up at a goal apiece. Back here in St. Louis, we're all even at a goal apiece after that equalizer by Wenberg, his 14th on the year, 45th point on the campaign, as the Blues here in superhero or in Star Wars night are trying to come up with 2 points and leapfrog the Sharks in the standings. If this game goes to overtime and the Blues win, they'll tie the Sharks in the standings. If the Sharks win this game of any kind, they will stay in front of the Blues in the standings, whether that's just by a point or 2. So the crowd here cheering on Josh Schertz, the St. Louis head basketball coach, as they're moving on in the March Madness tournament. As a faceoff now in the blue zones, won by the Sharks to the near side. Here's Dickinson with a shot, goes off a leg. Now here come the Blues out to center. It'll be directed by Suter on his backhand indirectly to the far side of the Shark zone, as it was just kind of placed in an area. That's where it ended up. And now in between the benches, a puck pinballs around. It's in front of the Blues bench, taken away from Sherwood by Berggren. Berggren, rink-wide pass on the near side. Parayko over the Shark line, put it around the goal. In the trapezoid, it rolls. Trying to get there, Suter. It's taken away by Leddy. Now Dickinson up the near side, trying to clear. Can. It goes off a leg to the far side. Leddy back on it. Has Berggren near him, but he plays it away from him. Dickinson on the near side. And now up comes Sherwood on the pass. Over the red line he goes. Now the St. Louis Blue. On the near side, here's Eklund on the pass. Pulls up. Now at the near point, played it to the far circle. Wenberg snapped it back up top to Mukmadulin. He rides the far wall. Shielding here against Fowler. Down low he goes. Fowler, though, with a nice takeaway on the Sharks defenseman. Heads it up on the near side for Neighbors. Up ahead, Bushnevich over the Shark line. Dropped it off Neighbors again inside the blue line. Hit by Eklund, but kept it in the slot. Here's Mayu. Got poke-checked by Mukmadulin. Now the puck twisted back to center, but the Blues will grab it instead of Eklund. As now Broberg twists with it. Up ahead he goes. Broberg to the far left wing circle all himself. Trying to cut behind the Shark goal. Stays with it to the near right wing circle now. Lost it as he entered the slot. Now the Sharks end up with it as Chernyshev's the other way. And he's poke-checked by Broberg at the Blues line. And St. Louis gets possession back, as it's now Mayu on the far side up straight away. Backhands one from the red line. It goes right on net. Nedeljkovic gloved it and now sticked it in behind as he had to hurry up and make a decision. As now the Sharks can't clear. Orlov gave it right to Holloway. Holloway, far left wing circle, tried to dough drag past Orlov, couldn't, but now the puck came back in the air and came to him in the far slot. It came now to Snuggerud. It's lifted the stick of Smith, and Dvorsky's with it. Dvorsky poking it to the corner. Holloway. Back up it comes to the blue line. Lindstein kept it. Now it goes down to the corner again. The Sharks are going to try and clear. Orlov just hoists it sky high this time, and it rolls down onside. Celebrini collects. Toe drag in the slot. A shot missed the net. Came back to him in the near corner. Macklin Celebrini in the slot. Nice pass for Smith. Came to Lindstein, and the Blues take back over. And now here comes the man through center. It's Dvorsky. On the far wall, onside Snuggerud. Taken away by Celebrini now. Pass up ahead from the blue line in. It's gloved down by Smith. He has a breakaway. He pulled up at the circle. Now a turnaround shot deflects out of play, as I don't know what he saw there to not try and take that shot immediately. But Will Smith there has a shot deflect out of play. And 10:37 remain in regulation here, tied up at 1 goal apiece. So again, these teams tight in the standings. I'll do a scoreboard check right now in Nashville for you guys, as that game's currently still tied up at 2. The Devils are going on a power play with 6:14 to go in the third period. We'll see if they could try and take the lead in regulation and help both of these clubs out. So off a draw to the right of Hofer, the Blues clear. It's sent back out to center, and into the Shark zone it rolls. Leddy will play it around his goal for Dickinson on the near side. Sam Dickinson's had a lot of time on ice in this game. He sends one down the ice, though, for an icing here. And another whistle at 10:22 to go here in the third, and an ozone draw coming up yet again for the St. Louis Blues. So again, I mentioned the Blues since coming back from the Olympic break. They've only lost a couple of times in regulation, once to the Jets and once to the Devils. They've gotten points in all their other games. They're trying to get one here tonight. They'd like to get 2 and perhaps get 2 in regulation. The Sharks thinking the same thing on their end, with these teams separated by a point in the West race. On the near side, a face-off wood in the Shark zones controlled by the Sharks, and now they're out with numbers the other way. Left wing Dickinson fed it across and bouncing around in the slot. Came now to Walker for St. Louis, played it up ahead, and at the blue note, it's going to be one touch by Toropchenko, but it came to Gaudette, and he'll snap it back into St. Louis ice. Hofer goes to Fowler. He's crunched in behind by Ostapchuk, trying to stay with it. Now Finley trying to come up with it as well, tied up with Gaudette. Now an ugly spill for Kessel. He's able to stay healthy and back up to his feet, as that was bad into the near corner. The puck, though, comes out near the penalty boxes at center. And now it's fought for and poked out near the blue line. Dickinson controls back for the Sharks. And now he sends it back into St. Louis ice as everybody heads to change besides the Blues defenseman. Fowler's still out there, skates it straight away, played it over the logo. It's tipped in by St. Louis, as it's going to be Stenberg putting it down low. And now the Sharks put it back up the far wall. Toffoli laid it in front of the penalty boxes for Misa. Misa taken out of the play there by the rookie Lindstein, as behind the St. Louis net now Parayko up the far wall. Suter can't grab it. It rolls out of the zone, though, so the Blues do get it out. And Lindstein will reset here with Parayko. Parayko up to the logo. It's carried by the Pope. Pius Suter had a goal the other night, played it on the far wall now and shot it towards Nedeljkovic, but it went in behind. To the near side, it's Berggren up top. Parayko, his shot blocked between the circles as well. And now the Sharks, Toffoli in front of his own bench gets it out. Snapped at the Graf on the near side, who twists it in and heads to change. And the Blues get it back in their own zone with 8:50 to go here in the third period. Trying to generate some offense here in this third period are the Blues. They only have 3 shots on goal so far in the first 11 minutes of the period. This dump in fails though, as the Sharks are going to head back out the center. They're attacking right to left. Over the logo comes Eklund to the far wing over the Blues line. Played it on net. It deflects off the end boards right to Hofer, and he'll glove it. And with 8:28 to go, we'll step aside again. Still tied at 1 in St. Louis. You're listening to this NHL Watchalong live on YouTube with Jaric Rubel. Back here in St. Louis, 1-1 Blues and Sharks. Good news if you're a fan of one of these two teams. The Preds are currently down 3-2 to the Devils with 3 minutes left in that regulation period, and this could be a big swing week in the Western Conference as the Preds schedule is a little tougher after this game against New Jersey. They have Montreal, Tampa coming up, and then big games against LA and San Jose, and then St. Louis has Toronto, San Jose, LA, and Anaheim coming up. And then, of course, the San Jose Sharks have Columbus coming up before they head home to take on the Blues and then the Ducks after that. It's going to be a big swing week in the Western Conference if the Devils hang on in this game, because those 2 points might be the very critical ones at the end of the year if the Predators end up getting them or losing them. Face off to the left of Hofer, won by the Sharks, shot to the net, bounced in the slot. Parayko's going to gather, and he has a bunch of speed through center. The big boy's lugging it ahead on the near wing. He played it into the Sharks zone for Holloway. Around the goal it goes in the trapezoid. Now here is Parayko kicking it to Dvorsky. They're tied up with one another on the far wing. Bad communication there by the Blues, as still on that far half boards. 5 bodies are tied up trying to get to this puck. The Sharks end up with it, as from behind their own net, one arming one and protecting is Wenberg, who dropped it off for Eklund in behind. Here is William Eklund, had the primary assist on Wenberg's tying goal. Skates it himself through all 3 lines at neutral to the far wing. Got blocked off, though, and the Blues are back the other way. Here comes Snuggerud on the right wing. Snapped it on in. His line mates are changing, or at least some of them are, as he and Holloway stay on. Holloway, far wing, tried to drop it to Snuggerud. He went to go change, as I'm sure Montgomery was yelling at him to get off. And now here's Leddy through center. Lost the handle on it, but it came to Sherwood in front of the penalty boxes. He didn't get it very far, but it came back to him. He'll try again. Puck poked off of Celebrini's blade, rolls into the Blue zone, though. Chernyshev's on it in the far corner, down to our left. Taken off the puck, though, and it came to the point anyway. Near side, Leddy sends it to Dickinson. He stumbled on both knees, flung it in behind to the near corner. Bounced into the trapezoid now. Suter played it away, but it came to Will Smith. Up to the back it goes for Leddy. Far wall, Will Smith again. Poked it into the slot. It bounced to Celebrini. To the far wall it goes as Suter lumberjacked it ahead. It won't get out, though, as it's kept by Dickinson at the far point. Now touched free, and now the Blues are ahead 1-0. one-on-one the other way into the zone on the far wing is Berggren. A shot save made by Nedeljkovic with the shoulder. Rebound up the near side. Here come the Sharks 2-on-1. Left wing. Here is Smith. In front. Celebrini, a shot and a save by Hofer. Might have been Broberg who gave a reverse check, who got a stick in there as well. Now here come the Blues. Here's Stenberg lifted at center, and now the Sharks graph the other way on the takeaway. Gets in, splits the D, and it came right to Hofer on a poke check by Buchnevich. It got lifted in the air, and Hofer was able to glove it. A bit of energy bursted out here by the Sharks as they gave a couple of scares to Blues fans, and Hofer able to come up with the stop, and I believe Broberg on the back check as well prevented what would have been a high-scoring opportunity for Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini. We get a look at the replay here, and it was all Hofer with the right pad. Broberg didn't do anything to prevent Celebrini from getting to his forehand, as Joel Hofer with that right pad. Big stop. Face off to his left. Blues will control. Lindstein played it ahead. It bounced at the logo into the skates of Mook Medulin. He's able to gather, played it in front of the penalty boxes. Misa touches it now left wing over the Blues line. Into the corner it rolls for Toffoli to play it around the goal. To the far point it's Ferraro. Playing on his backhand down low to Foley with it. Takes a hit from Lindstein. Puck came to Graff. Bounced back in behind off the side of the net. Now Graff from the near corner to the left wing circle. Button hooking. Pivots to his forehand now. Threw it across to the far point Ferraro. Ferraro spinning on Neighbors. Played it down low. Hofer aggressively out to play it. Got it to Neighbors on the far wing. Touch to Buchnevich. Now out to center. Parayko gets it to Kyrou. And I guess Hofer's aggressiveness ended up paying off as the Blues will get a change. Here comes Misa on the reset. He has speed through center over the red line. Now fumbled it at the blue. It stays on side though. Near side he has it. Threw it in front. Collected by Neighbors. Neighbors with it for St. Louis now. Got it past the benches at center. A backhander finds Finley on the near side. Has a man breaking to the net with a Mayu, and he tried a drop pass, and luckily for Mayu, a diving poke check kept it alive. And now Walker with it into the Shark zone. Dropped off on a poke check by the Sharks, and it came to Graff as now, or Gaudette I should say, is on the near left wing. He chips it into St. Louis ice. Behind the Blues goal it goes. Goodrow played it around to the far corner. Ostapchuk slug it back to the blue line. Here's Desharnais. Long wrister blocked in front by Hofer. Came to his near side. Grabbed by Ostapchuk. To the back again. Orlov. Orlov looking. Played it back behind. Hofer a poke check again. Almost lost his balance. He's got to be careful now. As Gaudette from the trapezoid. To the back again. Orlov looking, shooting off the end boards. It goes past the glove side of Hofer. Now Toropchenko gets it. He'll clear it. It won't go for an icing as the Blues will get a change with under 5 minutes remaining here in regulation. The Sharks here with it in their own zone between the circles to our right. Orlov up on the far wing. Sherwood will dump it in beyond the red line. To the near corner of the Blues zone it goes to our left. It's turned over. Sherwood goes across to the far point. Letty faked a slap shot. Pivots down to the corner. Trade spots with a Shark, and Eklund had a try that went to the near side off a body. Now Dickinson poked it back down low. Parayko on it, trying to get it out for the Blues. Gets it along to center as now Fowler tried to move it along. His stick got lifted. Here comes Sherwood on the near wing. The Blues are trying to carry too much. They got to just move it along. Sherwood back into the zone. Dropped it for Wenberg near side. In the slot, Eklund couldn't hold the feed. Came back for Dickinson. The Sharks have the Blues scrambling at the moment. Behind the St. Louis net, Wenberg let it roll. Dickinson pinching. Can't grab it, but Sherwood will. Up to the near point, he skates. Across for Letty. To the far wall, Eklund. These Sharks have been out here for a while. Left at the far half boards for Wenberg. He's pinned up against the boards but shakes free from Dvorsky. To the point, here's Letty. Near side, Dickinson. To the circle, left wing side, Smith. In the slot, Eklund. Backhanded down low, and Parayko a good takeaway before it could reach Smith. As now he sent it up the right wing side and it came back to him. Tries again. Eklund takes it. Blues here need a whistle badly. Holloway just baseball swings it. It gets out the center. Don't know how many bodies they'll get off. They try to change. Back in comes Celebrini near side. Here he goes to the left wing side. Tried to play it around the goal. It successfully does get to the far point. Played back down low by Chernyshov. Now the Blues come up with it as Mayu from behind the goal got it across. It's lifted as far as the logo at center. And the Sharks twisting back in. Here they come. It's wave after wave. Pass by Orlov goes off a skate. So resetting at center again is Will Smith in the final 3:09 of the third period here, tied at 1. Here's Hofer on the near side. Trying to get it to Mayu. He's tied up with Chernyshov. Chernyshov trying to come up with this puck, but Mayu will, and he's able to skate by. The Blues now out to center. They'll snap it in from in front of the penalty boxes. Around the goal it'll go. Nedeljkovic stops it to the near side. Orlov flipped it out for the Sharks. It bounces over in front of the Blues bench. It'll be gathered by Lindstein. As now at 2:43 to go in the third. The Blues back in on the near wing. Broberg has space. Broberg driving on the backhand around the Shark goal. Threw it to the far wall. Toffoli grabs it for San Jose. And up ahead, not out. Good keep by Berggren as he deflected it down. Gets past Toffoli, left wing, in the slot. Neighbors looking, a shot, deflects in behind. Berggren, wraparound, doesn't make it to the net. To the far point, Lindstein's not there to cover it. He does take it away from Toffoli on the back check. And now bouncing puck comes to Neighbors. He's going to re-enter into the San Jose zone. He's poke checked. Back to center's Graf. He's trying to protect. He'll throw it back now, and the Sharks, Mukmadulin will send it, turned it right over. Back in comes Kyrou. Kyrou looking, think to the slot, and he lost the handle. To the far wall here, Bushnevich with it. Turned it to Kyrou. Kyrou far circle. In the slot, Bushnevich's shot, and it's stopped by Mukmadulin's skate. Back behind, here's Kyrou. Kyrou now looking, galloping from low to high on the right wing side. Deep slot, near wing. Here's Holloway. Across in the backdoor feed wasn't there for Parayko, and unable to keep it in as Kyrou at the far point. 104 seconds to go in regulation. The Blues coming back in. They want it in reg. On the near right circle, it's Holloway. Holloway looking. He lost the handle, got it back. He's going to play it behind the goal to Dvorsky. Top line on the ice now for the Blues. Just missing Snuggerud, who's now going to join as Kyrou heads off. Far left wing, Dvorsky. Trade spots here, but gave it back to Holloway. Holloway along the left wing boards. Up high, gave it to Mayu near right side. Mayu, long shot, deflected off a skate, out of play. As that was kind of a bad play there, as I don't think he should have tried what was a bad shot, as the Sharks couldn't change, and now they're going to be able to, as the Blues had him on their heels with 77 seconds to go. This Logan Mayu, just as a average hockey viewer here, above average hockey viewer, I don't know how I feel about this guy. I think he's got a good point producing kind of gig, but I just don't know how I feel about his IQ. But the Blues like him. They traded Bolduc for him for a reason. And there, I just don't think he made the best shot decision. And that play to Parayko was there on the back door, but the pass was too hot and Parayko couldn't get it in time. As now the Sharks win a D-zone draw on that faceoff, and out the center it goes. And now Wenberg will turn it back in his own zone. Desharnais played it ahead for Sherwood. Left wing Eklund into the blue zone. Final minute now of regulation time. Suter on the near side, trying to get it out for the Blues, having trouble with it. Lost the handle. It came up the wing, trying to move it. Snuggerud now. Came to Berggren. Berggren does get it out, as just barely escaped. Wenberg has to re-enter. Got it far wall. Desharnais played back behind the Blues net. Wenberg sandwiched in behind by Parayko. Shook him off though. Wenberg to the far wall. Trying to keep it free, got it to Desharnais at the point. His long shot blocked in front, came to Suter on the far wall. He moved it up. It'll get out. Will it go for icing? It will go for the icing after a long, curvy roll that almost ended up in the blue paint. As it was rolling on edge, the whistle goes with 26.3 seconds remaining before regulation concludes. So 1-1 still, ozone draw coming up for the Sharks. Both these teams have been pressing hard for these 2 points here in the third period, as the faceoff's coming up here to the right of Hofer. The Devils did beat the Predators, so the Predators come up empty-handed in the point department. So 2 points here for whichever team wins is huge in this Western Conference race, because I seriously think that those 2 points by the Predators are going to make or break their season with the opponents that they have left. I know I'm kind of talking crazy, but it's just kind of how I see it playing out. Blues win the D-zone draw, and it'll be played up by Parayko to center. And on the near wing, Dickinson will snap it back in for the Sharks. It bounces to the far wall. Mayu's going to have to lift it out. He won't, as it goes off of Leddy. And now it rolls out the center. It does get beyond the red line. And the Sharks in their own zone in the final 5 will play it to the logo. And Celebrini's going to want to try a shot. 1 second left, and it won't get to the net. And we're going to head to overtime here in St. Louis. This is a really big 2 points up for grabs, as they've met once already in overtime this year. It was 3-2 in overtime. Robert Thomas scored the winner. It was the one of only 3 overtime Blues wins this year. The Sharks are awesome at OT. They got 12 OT wins. They're 12-6. The Blues are 3-11. And we'll step aside before we determine a winner in this one. Back in 90 seconds. Overtime coming up in St. Louis. Overtime here in St. Louis, 1-1 your score, Blues and Sharks. Jaric Rubel with you here live on my YouTube channel. Last time, hopefully, for the season on here, and the rest will be on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as I'll be back there on Tuesday for the Flyers Capitals, the day after for the Kings and Blues, and then the day after that for the Canucks and the Wild. It's a home stretch run here to the Cup playoffs. Got to get in high gear as those begin on April 18th. So let's take a look at how we got here, shall we? Dalibor Dvorsky opened the scoring late in period 2 after 37 minutes of scoreless hockey, his 11th of the year from Holloway and Snuggerud. And then Alex Wennberg's 14th of the year, set up by Eklund and Sherwood, tied it 5 minutes into the third. And now we find ourselves here in overtime with a massive 2 points on the line, with the Predators losing in regulation to the Devils tonight. So it'll be Wennberg, Orlov, and a Celebrini to start for the Sharks. Finley, Broberg, and on the far wing, I believe it's Buchnevich, as the stupid FanDuel Sports logo names are over there. It's Holloway, 81, not 89, to start for the Blues. I would imagine once Finley maybe wins this draw, we'll get another forward to step on. Don't know if it'll be another centerman or not, but Finley does win it. The Blues control the attack right to left in this overtime. The Sharks left to right. And this overtime has begun. An extra skater that hopped on in replacement of Finley is Snuggerud, as he'll drop it off in his own blue line for Broberg. Broberg will circle back, give it to Holloway. He's going to enter the Shark zone straight away. Left it for Snuggerud. Snap shot goes off the stick of Wennberg, out of play. And a face-off here will come up in the Sharks defensive zone with 4:37 left in overtime. So shots 23-21 in favor of San Jose here through regulation time, as they really had the Blues hemmed into their defensive zone in the about final 7 to 3 minute range of that third period. Then the Blues started to take over in the final 2, but we end up here in OT. Dvorsky for this draw, out here with Kyrou and Fowler against Wennberg, Celebrini, and Orlov. To the right of Nedeljkovic, Dvorsky's able to pull it back. The Blues do get possession. Dvorsky has Kyrou break into the net. Fed it across. It was on Fowler's backhand, as he had to just get it down low. Kyrou ends up beating Wennberg to it. Kyrou left it far wall. Dvorsky. Dalibor Dvorsky with the lone goal tonight. Circles back into neutral ice. Passes the penalty boxes. Now circles the logo. On the far wing, dropped it at the red line for Kyrou. He'll leave it at his own blue line for Fowler. Fowler back on the far wall for Dvorsky at the logo. Looking to drop it off, keeps it himself. Enters the Shark zone left wing, now skating to the right, all with possession. Now Broberg back on the ice, gets that drop pass as the Blues get their new skaters on. Here is Buchnevich at the logo, into the Shark zone, to the far wing. He slowly skates, left it on the near wing. Here's Berggren, has Broberg breaking, dropped it to Buchnevich. To the far circle, the pass finds Broberg, who back skates to the blue line. He'll end up heading back to neutral ice now, as he doesn't like what he sees. And now he'll re-enter, deked past into the zone. Now a drop pass accidentally found Buchnevich. His shot got over the crossbar and got the glass. Berggren on the loose puck, nudged it back to Buchnevich at the blue line. 90 seconds gone by in overtime. Far right wing at the right circles Buchnevich. Put the brakes on, found a man up high. Berggren activating on the right wing. Pulling up in the far corner down to our left. Put it there for Buchnevich, as now Buchnevich leaves it for Broberg. Broberg trying to get to the slot. Lost the handle. The Sharks are going to get it. And now Celebrini got poke-checked by Broberg, and the Sharks do end up with possession. As now Orlov stretch pass up ahead, deflects off of Wennberg's stick, as he could have had a breakaway, but Hofer comes out to play that. Holloway with it now near side. Here come the Blues into the zones. Berggren near side. Dropped it at the circle. Broberg in the slot. Down low. Berggren touched across. One too many passes. Now the Blues got to get back. Here comes the Sharks. Eklund through center, over the logo, 2-on-1 potentially on the near right side. Tried a shot, save Hofer, rebound to the near circle, Holloway. He goes behind the St. Louis net and slows it down a bit. Tried to make a move on Sherwood, blew a tire, but the Blues are going to get theirs. Neighbors gets that loose puck, as now Neighbors will start it up ahead on the left wing. Jake Neighbors trying through neutral ice, had a drop pass, end up connecting with Holloway instead of Mayu. Holloway left wing into the Shark zone. Got tied up with Sherwood, just has to exit the zone. And now Neighbors at the logo. Gallops back into Shark ice. Fresh on the ice is Snuggerud. Neighbors far wall with the puck down to our left. Up near the blue line, played it along the wall to Mayu. Mayu at 2 minutes left in overtime. Skates to the near left wing. Trade spots with Snuggerud, gave him the puck. In the slot, it finds Kyrou. Toe drag, tried to turn around, got poke check. Now the Sharks on the counter attack. Sherwood up the right wing side. Over the Blues line, he goes to the far side. Dickinson's into the back, and oh, for what a stop! And now the Blues are going to come the other way. 2-on-1. Here's Kyrou up the left wing. He gave it far wing, Snuggerud. Back to Kyrou. The pass went over his blade. Kyrou now played it back to center as the Blues had an opportunity after a great save by Hofer, but it ended up all being for naught. Here's Parayko. Has to just leave it for Buchnevich. Now got it back. Now giving it back to Buchnevich. 90 seconds left here at overtime. Dvorsky fresh on the ice. Gets through center. Makes Celebrini miss to the far circle. He skates into the Shark zone. Into the slot. A shot, and he missed to the far post. Puck free to the far wall. Fowler. Got it down low for Buchnevich. Buchnevich from the trapezoid. In front, Dvorsky. Looking for a shot and a save with the blocker by Nedeljkovic as Dvorsky just waited too long to shoot that puck. He probably should have let it go as soon as it hit his blade as he tried to look for a spot on the blocker side of Ned, but could not beat the San Jose netminder. So Buchnevich, just a perfect centering pass, and Dvorsky just could not fake out Nedeljkovic, and he got in too deep before he let that puck go, and it just went right off the right pad. And now here at the other side, it was a left skate save by Hofer on Dickinson in the blue paint. He was all the way on the right side of the paint. His left leg, left skate was able to get it and keep this overtime going, as now the Blues have elected to use their timeout. Now Jim Montgomery to the drawing board as he's vocal on the benches. The Sharks have taken the timeout, it says. I apologize. Camera just went to Jim Montgomery barking. But here on the scoreboard, it shows that the Sharks have taken a timeout. So it was them, not the Blues. As they try and draw something up here. They got a D-zone draw to worry about with 70 seconds left in this overtime. So again, the 2 points up for grabs are huge. I guess the extra point is each team's gotten one at this point, as Nashville lost in regulation. So if the Sharks win, they're within 5. If the Blues win, they're within 6. And again, if you're San Jose, yeah, you've lost your last 14 games to the Predators, but you also have 2 games left against them and an opportunity to right the ship. So face off to the right of Nedeljkovic. Wenberg against Dvorsky. Off the tie-up, it comes back behind the Shark net, and Orlov will grab it. So he just sits there in the trapezoid. Now gave it to Celebrini on the near side as the Sharks are going to try and break out with what they drew up on the whiteboard. Here in the final minute of overtime, Wenberg's going to just peel back in his own defensive zone. Give it to Celebrini. Now Celebrini skating through his own end, up through center, through the Blue Note logo. On the far side, or I should say the near side of the Blue zone, gets hounded by Kyrou, loses possession, and now Buchnevich trying to get it away from him. Kyrou protecting, trying to get Dvorsky into the zone. Dvorsky will collect as he kicks to the stick. Celebrini hounds him. Got it into the Shark zone. 30 seconds left in overtime. Buchnevich skates it back out as the Blues are changing. Here's Buchnevich straight away, trying to get back in. It's stripped of it by Celebrini. Here's Celebrini. Played it back at the logo. On the near side, Wenberg now played it up ahead. Celebrini, far wing into the Blue zone. Diving play by Broberg, poked it away, but now it's free in the slot. Orlov a shot, he missed and hit the glass with the almost open shot he had of the night. And now a stretch pass for Holloway won't connect. He's in final 5 of OT though. Gonna drive to the goal back and he scores! Oh, Dylan Holloway wins it in overtime on the most random shot you'll ever see. In tight upstairs over to Nedeljkovic. And the Blues are all right. So the Blues get a massive extra 2 points. Nedeljkovic slams his stick in frustration as Joel Hofer, man, hats off to you. A couple of big stops in overtime, and the Blues go end to end here in what looked like a hopeless final 5 seconds. Holloway did not see a passing lane, took it to the net himself, backhand, short side, under the bar. And the Blues, 2-1. In overtime are now just 6 back of a Stanley Cup playoff spot. Nashville's got LA and San Jose twice each. They're going to beat up on each other. All the Blues have to do is win, win, win. Those teams are going to beat up and teams are going to lose points and they're going to gain the ground if they only keep winning. So 6 straight losses now for the Sharks. That's not ideal for them as they're now falling out of the playoff spot. They're down just 5 or 6 points to the Nashville Predators, same as the Blues, as these two teams will meet again on Monday. That'll be a pivotal 2 points up for grabs. But on Saturday, Columbus hosts the Sharks, and Toronto comes here to St. Louis to take on the Blues. This is one heck of a race here in the Western Conference wildcard chase. So again, 2-1 the final here tonight. Dvorsky from Holloway and Snuggerud. Holloway at overtime, unassisted the goals for the Sharks, or for the Blues I should say, and for the Sharks. It was Alex Wenberg from Eklund and Sherwood, as this game belongs to the Blues. So again, my name is Jaric Rubel. I'll be back on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel on Tuesday for the Flyers and the Capitals, as both those metropolitan teams are trying to sneak into the Eastern Conference playoffs. It'll be a good one out in the nation's capital. But for now, I must bid farewell from the gateway to the West. So again, the final 2-1 St. Louis in overtime as Dylan Holloway gets the job done for the Blues. They're 6 points out, so are the Sharks, as there's now just less than 3 weeks remaining in this regular season. I'll talk to you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel on Tuesday the 31st for Flyers and Capitals. But for now, Jaric Rubel saying so long and good night from St. Louis.